Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. You know what this is. You know what this is. This is Black Friday. This is Black Friday. This is the day we talk about business. We open up the phone lines. So whatever's on, whatever. Let me see. Let me get my volumes lined up here. Hold on. There we go. Whatever you want to talk about in regards to business. If you have business, a business of your own, you have an event coming up or whatever you got going on, you can definitely give us a call. We love to give it to you. We're gonna only charge you. We're gonna only charge you, just so you know, we're only gonna charge you 0.5. 0.5 is all we're gonna charge. We ain't gonna charge you no more than 0.5. So if you can figure that out while you're doing your math, get it all lined up, figure it out. Leonard, there go Leonard.
Yes.
Leonard had a big N up there the first time. I said, "Oh God, that
New
meant
order
there you
for
go."
life.
I thought it meant neutron, but we did neutron city. But listen, we're gonna go around. I want to say good morning to all the ladies, and then Leonard. Good morning to you too, brother. But the ladies are always first. Good morning, Anna. Anna, good morning. How you doing this morning, young lady? Now we can't hear nothing you're saying, Anna. We can't hear nothing you're saying. You got to do something with that mute.
I
There you
muted myself. I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. I really missed each and every one of you guys yesterday, but I was on the live feed. Got enough energy to do that, and I have enough energy to be up and running with you guys this morning. So I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Now, I don't want you to say nothing behind this right here. I'm gonna say something to you, and don't comment. Don't say a word, okay? But we docking your pay for tomorrow. For yesterday. Yesterday we docking your pay for yesterday. You ain't get paid for yesterday. I just want to let you know you ain't getting paid for yesterday. Okay.
We're docking a 0.5, right?
Chris got something going on. Huh? What's going on with it? Good morning, Christy. How you doing this morning, sis? How you doing?
Good morning. I learned to mute myself before you mute me.
Hey, Leonard. Is that something like, you go somewhere, every time you go somewhere, somebody slap, bow, and you go there the next day, and you just slap yourself, bow. I'm gonna just slap myself. Before you get out, I'm already slapped. Now let's go ahead on with the day. I'm already slapped.
Yeah, I just mute myself because you do it so regularly and so awesome, because you're such a great radio engineer.
And I just muted her. Lord, my God.
I can't.
We are on the phone line. We have our sister Tawanda. Good morning, young lady. Tawanda, tell everybody who you are and where you're calling from.
I am Tawanda Graves, and I'm calling from wherever I am.
I don't even know where I'm at this morning. I'm
sister
here.
Act like she forgot who she was.
Just wait.
It happens, y'all. It happens.
That's my sister from another mother right there, and we ain't never met personally.
Exactly. Look here. Early mornings and Fridays don't work for her. Early mornings and Fridays, and this is early morning and it's a Friday, so she ain't usually.
Hey, I make it though. I show up though.
There you go. Look here, she don't like them early mornings. I go ahead and tell you. I'll be the first one to tell you. She don't like them early mornings. It's not a thing for her. But how you doing, sis? You doing okay?
I'm doing great.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain Leonard.
Good morning,
man. What's going on, man?
Good morning, man. It's a Friday. As soon as we finish, I'm going to bed.
Good Lord.
That's some good stuff, man. At least we're gonna
Exactly. This is Black Friday. We're going to talk about, business and situations going on in and around businesses, events, and different things of that sort. That's what we're doing Black Friday. We open up the phone lines, and if for whatever reason people don't build up the courage, sometimes you got to build up the courage just to call in. So if for whatever reason they don't build up the courage to call in, we're going to educate them today. So we're going to go around the panel right now and find out what everybody wants to talk about in regards to business. Christy, what's on your heart in regards to business?
It's Friday.
Christy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me focus because you got me started thinking about Friday, and then I started thinking about Friday the movie, and then it just went down here.
Yeah, she started thinking about and then she started thinking about eggs, and then she started thinking about the bacon that's gonna be beside the waffles and the eggs. And Christy, come on now.
Well, okay, back to business. You know, I'm interested in the stock market, and also my interest is in the 45. You know, that he was told about his bankruptcies and stuff. So I think I want to talk about all of that good stuff.
Well, see, only thing about that, we got a background noise coming from somebody. I'm trying to figure out
what that's me. Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second.
And see, the only thing about that is, and what people, people get so excited when they say about, oh, they gonna get his records and all that stuff. They're gonna pull this. Ain't nothing gonna happen before the election. Ain't nothing gonna happen. He's gonna stall that thing to after the election, and then even if he has to do it at all.
And you know the sad part, we have an election. We have our election Saturday. This Saturday. And do you know how quiet it is about the election? No one knows about it. Nope. No one has put it on. I mean, usually during a presidential election, and this is just the primaries, but I mean, it's nothing. It's nowhere on television. It's nowhere in the news. It's nowhere on Facebook for us. We telling people to go vote. I don't know any agencies that's telling people we'll pick you up to go vote. The only, like I said, I work the polls as a, I work as a commissioner on the polls, so I know about the election. And I was telling people at work, oh no, I'm not voting in the election. I said, you better get your butt over there and vote. I don't care. Let me tell you something. If y'all talking about not voting, then y'all gonna have another 4 years of Trump. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to hear nobody complaining.
So Christy, Louisiana hasn't had a primary yet.
This is our first vote
this is your primary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. This is the primary is this Saturday because they postponed it due to the coronavirus.
Gotcha.
Now we're actually doing it, and we have to wear a little face mask and shields. And one other thing that they did in my parish, so we used to have like every district had a precinct to go to. Well, they combined all the precincts together, so you vote in maybe two places now.
That's
and so it's gonna be a strategy because now you have to have your ID.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. What if somebody can't make it because a lot of times they may have those polls, those two polls in a place where people just can't make it to because not everybody have the proper transportation that they need. So what if they can't make it?
That's the point.
Remember when I told you about Winfield's a little small circle? Remember I told you how little it is? Yeah. Like if you put on one corner, somebody on the next corner can smell it. Remember I told you that? So it's such a small place that I guess they figured that if you can walk or there's transportation out there. So, I mean, it's not really a large city. I mean, it's like a walking distance, maybe like 5 minutes or so from wherever you stay.
Oh, okay.
If that long. I mean, it could be about 15, 20 minutes, but I mean, it's not that horrible where you can't get to it. But the problem is, if I'm an older woman, I've been used to voting at the annex, and I'm just the place that was closed down, the annex. How do I know where to go to vote now?
Yeah.
I mean, they was confused then where to go vote. And then because we were African, like in the annex of African American people who knew people, so we know who you are, and we'll get the affidavit for you to sign because we know. That's not going to be able to happen in this because we're going to be in a mixture of all people, all races, all people. So the rules are going to have to be strict, and it's going to be difficult for those that don't have their licenses to vote.
Now, Leonard, you said that's by design. What did you mean when you say that?
Well, it's different in a place like where she is because folks still are in close proximity to the poll.
Yeah.
However, there's sometimes you lose accommodations based on, every poll should be handicap accessible. One of the big issues is people waiting in lines, especially elderly people and people who have disabilities and things like that, who may not be able to stand out in the sun.
Yeah.
And things like that for long periods of time. So hopefully somebody, if it's that issue where you have that many people, maybe you have somebody with some water and things like that for elderly people. And I think usually you would let elderly people go to the front of the line in most places. Also in Georgia, we have to remember we have a runoff. So if you voted absentee ballots, because we were closed during the regular election and they rescheduled, but one thing they did was they automatically sent absentee ballots. See, I don't remember requesting one, but they sent me one, and it was very rare.
Yeah,
but it was due to COVID-19.
Yeah, I got one as well.
However, in the primary, you have to request that ballot if you're going to vote absentee. They're not going to send it to you for the primary. You got to request it this time or go vote in person.
Look here, I'm gonna tell you something. I want my little sticker. I'm gonna go vote in person. I want my little sticker. I want that little sticker.
So, and people clown about them stickers though, for real.
Oh yeah.
People know them everybody be highlighting them stickers, but they have them all over the place. Stickers. I want my sticker. But Anna, what's on your heart? We're talking about Black Friday. We're talking about business. So what's on your heart today?
I just wanted to respond real quick, and then I'll talk about business. But I love taking my picture and posting it because they usually give 2 other special people in my house because I've been bringing them for years, so they know what to do once they become of age. So they usually give them one too. I don't know if they do that with everybody and everywhere, but it's just I usually love just going out and just taking that picture and just saying vote. I need it, and hopefully that'll make people vote. But yeah, I like getting my sticker too. I feel so proud when I got my sticker.
I got my
yeah. So something that's on my mind, and I'd like to talk about, if you guys know much about this, how was it that some people got these millions that I'm reading online, millions, and the rest of us got a measly $1,200 for the stimulus package, which has to do with businesses. And I want to know how that went along, because from what I read while I was laying down this week or whatever, was that Kanye West received millions, and now you're running for presidency under Republican Party. I'm just curious to know,
that's a joke.
What's up with that?
It's called laundering. That's what it's called.
Exactly. Go ahead, Christy.
A lot of companies jumped ahead of the game. You got to remember who's president. He practically gave that money to them.
Exactly.
That's the whole point. Get Congress to appropriate the funds, send the funds to big business, send the funds to people you owe favors, send the funds to people who you want on your team, and those people at a certain income level with businesses. Like Trump himself received funding for his properties and things like that. So you have to realize that's where that money goes. When you see a bill with one-page bill with $60 billion on it, very broad, small rules, that's going to go to those people who are very established, who are connected to that administration. And then you have those who would have to, regular business people who are not connected, would have to go and apply for the funds. But the big business people were ready for it.
Remember, Kirk had said there was gonna be the biggest heist in the United States. And he said, just wait. Definitely. He said that before the stimulus package was ever approved. He said, you just wait. You're going to see that this is going to go down in history as one of the biggest heists that there ever were. And now we're reading about it because Kanye and other people, even, you know what? I don't know if anybody saw this, but I saw it on Facebook where it was a whole bunch of Hollywood stars talking about racism. And Morgan Freeman was one. And Lil Wayne was another person they was talking to, and they were saying that racism is not a problem in America. They was just saying that Lil Wayne was saying that he never had to deal with race issues. And then Morgan Freeman was like, just don't talk about it. You know, if you don't talk about it, then it's not a problem. Kanye is kind of on that mind frame as well. So, I mean, I feel like people that are in a certain income, I feel like their brain get washed in a certain manner because they like all the money that the Republican Party gives to the rich. And so then they become this type of person that they believe. I don't know how they can believe racism is still not an issue,
Christy,
but I mean that's it.
say it like it is. They to a certain degree they sell out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really be like, especially Lil Wayne with all the tattoos and piercing. You can't tell me that you haven't ran up against any racism with all your baby mamas and all the stuff that you got going on.
He probably hasn't.
I guess because of his money or whatever.
Well, it's because of where he's from and who he is. That young man has been wealthy since he was a young boy.
Yeah.
So he has been able to afford whatever he wants where he's at. You know, if he has run-ins with the law, he can pay his way out.
Mm-hmm.
See, that celebrity allows a lot of them to do that. And so, say for instance, there are a lot of, we didn't have racial issues really in the city that I was from.
Mm-hmm.
But there were black and white people there. We knew that there was a dynamic between East Side, West Side. That's racism. Mm-hmm. However, sometimes some people are not ever directly impacted by it. It's because they're able to afford a certain lifestyle where they don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got celebrities on.
I understand what you're saying, but I agree with you to a certain point. And then I have to say that, you know, both sides of the coin. I think that he has maybe not experienced it directly in his face, but he has experienced it. I remember.
You can't say that, Raheem.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm trying to pull up this speech right now. I hope I can get it so you can hear it. But it was Muhammad Ali. He was talking about the racial situation, and that's when that's way past his Castro Clay when he was Muhammad Ali, when he was with the nation. And he was saying that a lot of times the racism is still there, even with him, and he had millions of dollars. He was very rich. He said the racism is still there. I'm gonna find this clip before the broadcast is over, if it's still out there. But my thing, he said that the racism is still there. Maybe it's not as up in your face as it is. If he said it will be up in my face, because he used himself as a nucleus. He said it will be it's not as up in my face because of the fact that I have a certain status in my life. He said, but still, they still look at you the same, whether they interact or whether they treat you like that. He said, in y'all excuse me, I gotta say it the way he said. He said to most people, white America. He didn't say white America. He said something else, which I would not say. But he said they look at you as just another nigger. You're just a rich nigga, but you're still a nigger.
Right.
And he said
that's not racism. That's the difference.
You got to explain that to me, brother.
Racism it's not how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is he's never been the victim of racism.
And you equate now that just to the fact that he have a certain economic value in his life. He has a certain
there's a lot of people who haven't been victimized by racism. And when you ask, yes, racism exists, but it hasn't affected them. A lot of people who have the whereabouts and the means to purchase, or they have some celebrity or what have you, live great lives where racism never even comes. He probably afford, like, say for instance, I'm not usually in the company of white people. So my interaction with them is very small on certain levels. But then again, you have people in corporate America that are exposed to it every day. Look at where Christy is. Christy is in Winfield. If you are living in an all-black community or communities that are predominantly black, you may or may not experience racism directly. A lot of people are out here fighting against racism who haven't had issues with racism. They're fighting against that system because it's wrong. You got guys you got a lot of people who have that point of view because of that reason. I'm 50. Ain't nobody white never called me a nigga.
That you heard. Okay.
Why would they let me hear it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a feeling. It's not a suspect of what someone's doing. It's actually what has happened.
Exactly. Let me pull Tawana into the conversation. Tawana, what's on your heart right now? What do you say to this?
About racism?
Yeah, about do you think a person when they get X amount of dollars, when they become quote unquote rich, do you think they're no longer racially profiled?
I'm not gonna say they I'm not gonna say they're not racially profiled, because you have regular celebrities that get pulled over because they don't know who they are, but when they identify who they are, they're in a different it's totally different. So now, I mean, it's things that you can't relate. I can't relate to somebody that's rich because I'm not that. So it's not something that you can speak on. So, you know, those type of people should not speak for us because they can't relate to anything. I mean, we gotta look at where we live and in the demographic of people. Somebody that's been rich all their life, they can't relate to somebody that's poor because they've never had to live that experience. So they can't speak on racism. They can't speak on inner city issues. I mean, they might can speak on if that's where they grew up. But this is why we have problems with like places in inner cities and outsiders want to come in and try to say, okay, you need to do this. You can't go in no one's town. You can't go in no one's city and tell them how to live. And that's pretty much the same instance. You can't come from West Hollywood and talk about something that's going on in the hood. It just doesn't work like that. So no, they might not never experience. Yeah, they see it on TV. Yeah, they hear stories, but you have to physically hear it. You have to physically see it yourself. I mean, I can't say, even with me from the hood, I can't say that I've ever ran into an issue that I know of. Now, somebody might have said something ignorant after the fact, but I mean, I've never ran into a Karen. I'm hoping one day I get the opportunity. But you know, I mean, I can't say that I can't say that I've seen it. I haven't physically seen it.
Okay, Anna, I see you over there. Anna, what's on your heart?
So first of all, Lil Wayne, he's always on something. Let's just say it. That's syrup. Okay. So Lil Wayne doesn't even know what's going on. Say, I think 98% of maybe more. Okay. So maybe he doesn't even realize that he's experiencing racism. So in the case of Lil Wayne, but I understand that they may be in a different bracket once they realize who they are and they're not everyday you and me people. Okay, that's fine. But it's still, geez. Me working, and I've shared this with both Raheen and Leonard. Me working in the dental office when I heard the biggest attacks towards every race, including brown folks. And I worked for this doctor. Okay, I will not mention his name, but it was actual attacks. I mean, I can't wait to see these. They're walking right in front of my house so I can just shoot them all. And I mean, these are attacks of racism, but I bet you he never told the patient that. So what I'm saying is it's done. It's just not done in your face, because believe you me, you hear it. You hear it all the time. And I don't know why he felt so comfortable to tell me things like this, tell me inappropriate things about, you know, the way he felt about Hispanic women and that they are only good for being maids, you know, stuff like that. Wow. And yeah. And that's the honest to God truth. You know, and I hear stories like that all the time. I wish Rico would call in, and I'm sure he's listening in, because he can tell a lot of stories like that, and where it's one thing in your face and it's really racism. So behind closed doors, there's really racism going on. And then you ask yourself, how is it that, this is happening? There's a county in here in Georgia, Clayton County, which they actually sued the police department, Caucasian people, because they weren't getting as much promotions or as much work being hired, which Clayton County is predominantly Black and Hispanic.
And so is their sheriff, right?
Absolutely. And why not hire more people, who can probably understand the community better? And so then they felt discriminated against. So I'm like, I don't get it. But whatever, this happens every day. But then when you have a community that's actually working for themselves and trying to, because even when we talk about the school system, their neighboring county, which is Henry County, was better than Clayton County and even the school system. Right now, the school system in Henry County, and somebody call in and correct me if I'm wrong, is falling apart. Meanwhile, you got Clayton County, who's got an excellent superintendent, who they're slowly but surely they're getting back to what they were. And this is predominantly all Black community and Latino as well. So I just wanted to, state that.
Good. Leonard, hold on before we do that. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, everybody. It's Andrea.
Andrea,
Morning,
good morning. How you doing? Andrea, you been listening to us this
I'm
morning?
doing
Good morning.
No, I just got in the car. No, so y'all got to catch me up with what's going on.
Okay.
I just got in the car headed to the plantation.
Now, let me ask you this: if a person is rich, a Will Smith, Denzel, or somebody like that, do you think they could be racially profiled?
Yeah, anybody can be racially profiled, but I don't think it matters because they got their paper.
Mm-hmm. So it does. You think it's to a point where it doesn't matter to them?
No, it don't matter to them. I mean, you can say whatever you want to and do whatever you want to, probably, but they're gonna be okay because they got it pretty much the way they need their life set up. It's good for them right now. So I'm pretty sure they're not worrying about the ones who talking about them, but you can do that when you got what you need.
Okay. We spoke earlier about Lil Wayne. Do you think with him, with the makeups that he have and the tattoos and all this stuff, even though he have that money, do you think he has a better possibility of being racially profiled by sight?
Yeah, if you don't know the history, but throughout the African Americans throughout the world, there was something that they did. They had tattoos and piercings and stuff on their body, and it meant different things. So if you don't know the culture, then yes, you will profile.
Okay. Christy, what's on your heart?
I just want to say that I love and respect David Chappelle so much in this topic, because if you know anything about David Chappelle walked away from $50 million contract because of the content that he had a problem with, the content that he was dishing out. And I was looking at he's coming back out, but I was looking at him talking. He said, it was one thing. He said that made him just like, everybody was asking, like, why you gave up $50 million? You stupid, you crazy. You could have been on this, you could have been on that. But he said that, you know what? He said, it was one skit that I did, and it was whenever the nigger word was come out, it was a face or an antidote or whatever that would come out. And when that figure came out, it was going to represent the word nigger. And what that sketch was, it was going to be, back in those little black faces. You remember blackface? All those people that remember those people that the white people used to paint their face black. That's what it was going to be. And he said he looked at that and he said, you know what? I'm responsible for the content that I give out. Even when Kanye went up to the family church and started to try to preach against music and started to say that music has symbolism in it, no one in the church clapped, and no one in the church, because they know your background. So it's like this. I feel as though that even though you yourself may not have experienced it or know that you have experienced. I'm like, Anna, I have seen it firsthand. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is just my experience. This was back when I was working as a CNA in a nursing home. The lady, I had to work a hall. The white girl that normally worked the hall had took off or couldn't work. But this hall was real prejudiced. So they asked me to work the hall. I was like, well, I'm black. So the lady that I had to work that had a problem with African Americans, she didn't know what I was. She didn't know if I was black. She didn't know if I was white with a tan. She didn't know. She kept asking me all day, what are you? I say, well, why does it matter? She said, are you Hawaiian? I was like, no. And so I took care. She was real sweet and nice to me. She said, I love the color of your skin. And I'm one of these petty people. So I'm going to tell you what I did. So another white girl was coming on after me. She kind of had the same skin tone, just a little bit as me. And it was funny because at the end of my shift, I told her, I say, ma'am, you've been asking me all day what color I am. I say, I am a black African American, but to you, I may be classified as a nigger. And I done touched you, I done cleaned you, I done washed you, I done made your bed up, I done touched everything in your room. That woman went crazy. She said, somebody come clean my room. Somebody come clean my room. I said, you know what? The person that you finna come working with, she looked white, but her dad black. And I walked out.
You go, girl.
That's the way you do it, Christy. That is exactly how you do it, Christy.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
And when the white girl came in, she's like, I gave her a point. I said, oh yeah, Miss Such and Such was such a doll. And she went in there and got cussed out and hit and scratched like we do. Racism is still done today, regardless if you experienced it or not. And it's like when Anna say, doctors and nurses and medical field is number one for talking about people. And being racially profiling and saying things about people that you would never hear out loud because they service people.
Exactly.
So whether or not you like Lil Wayne say he never, I know I'm gonna do it right here. Even though Lil Wayne says he's never experienced it, he's just never been told to his face the truth.
There you go.
But see, I'm one of the ones you gonna tell me the truth up front.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to Kirk. Good morning, Kirk. How you doing this morning, sir? Can you hear you? There you go. There you go. Now,
morning, bro.
This is Black Friday, man, and people might listen and say, man, what this got to do with business? It has a lot to do with business, because if you don't have the right mindset, you don't want to be the right mindset, then you're gonna run into these issues. And I'm going to tie it all together in just 1 second when I go back to Tawanda. But right now, I want to ask you this question, Kurt. We spoke about Will Smith. We spoke about all these celebrities, even to include Lil Wayne. Now, my question is this right here: with them having the economic money, with the money, all the stuff that they have, can they too be racially profiled?
Yeah.
Exactly. Go ahead. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, racial profiling ain't got nothing to do with your money. I mean, if you seen the movie Crash, that would tell you right there.
I hated that movie.
That racial profiling don't have nothing to do with your bread. And Leonard, you were supposed to hate that movie. Honestly.
From the beginning, Kurt, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't watch it.
Right. And it was supposed that was all by design.
As much as I love Cheeto, I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, that was all by design, brother. That was all by design. I just watched it in its entirety day before yesterday. And man, racial profile don't have it don't have no dollar amount on it. And truthful, if you got money like that, when it come down to racial profile, they're gonna racial profile you and take your money. And take your money. So like I don't know why people trying to act like it don't exist, because it do. I don't know why people trying to act like, oh well, that can't happen to me. Yeah, okay, Mr. Oxford. You'll find out. Paul Mooney said it best. Paul Mooney said it best. Mooney said all Negroes act like white folk until they get their Negro wake up call.
Yeah.
You know,
and speaking about Paul Mooney, he didn't say Negro. Go ahead.
You're right. It's just like old girl. I don't even want to talk about it because it's like a waste of air.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to think that, she ain't never seen no racism, that racism don't happen in America and this, that, and she ain't got a Negro wake up call. She ain't she ain't got a Negro wake up call. And then when she did get the call, guess what, right?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't answer.
Do you think, and from what you're talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about, but and she did just get the call and did not answer. But do you think what is going on right now with Bill? Do you think that was his Negro wake up call?
What you talking about?
Bill Cosby? Because they took their brother, man. They put him in a situation that you have your Weinsteins and all the other people that did all these.
They gave him several, Raheem. They killed his son, man.
Yeah.
They killed his son. I know the girl that dated that boy all the way through college, man.
Mm.
I know the girl that dated him all the way through college. They killed that man's son, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bill got his. George got his.
Yeah.
Jackson got his.
Mm-hmm.
Quincy got his.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Charles got his. This list can go on and on, man. This list.
Christy got hers.
Who was that?
He said she don't go. Keep going.
Christy
Kurt. Keep
got
going.
hers.
Oh,
Kurt got his.
Yeah, I done got mine. Chrissy got. I done got mine. And man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Listen, I'm a strong and fervent and firm believer in the United States military. The most racism I ever seen in my life was when I was in the United States military. I remember going before the board and knocking it out the park. You understand? Knocking it out the park right here. And I remember a white boy went in after me. I remember First Sean coming out and telling me, you know why you ain't got a 300 on that board? I said, what you mean, Top? Well, no, I don't. I don't know. And he had a cigarette in his mouth. He took the cigarette from his mouth and he rubbed it across his hand like that right there. I remember getting a little tipsy and calling the unit and telling the unit, look, I'm a little tipsy. I don't want to drive. I'll be back in the morning. Oh, all right, not a problem. We just don't want you to drive, man. I remember getting back. When I get back, man, they make me write an essay about drunk driving, something that I didn't do. I didn't even drunk drive. They made me write an essay about it and present it in front of the whole entire company. Like masqueraded me, right? But let me tell you, God don't like ugly, and the devil damn sight don't like looking at himself. You hear me? Because let me tell you what happened right after I gave that briefing that they made me give. They publicly humiliated me. That cracker. Let me tell you what happened to him, Raheem. Yeah, I'll say it. Let me tell you what happened to him, Raheem.
One more mute button.
I gave that briefing on a Friday. At the end of work call formation every Friday, every unit get what they call a safety briefing. So they rated me out there and made me do a full essay about drunk driving and this, that, and the third, right? That was Friday, Raheem. How about Friday night? That same First Sergeant, white dude, I ain't gonna say his name because he might be dead now. That same white dude got pulled over with my platoon sergeant, who was white, who was all on his side. Yeah, McNeil, you need to do that and blah, blah, blah. Listen, got pulled over, both of them got locked up for DUI.
Kurt, though we love your story and we appreciate your story, we don't do name calling on here, brother. We don't do that. You know, we don't do that. We don't do that. But no. Tawanda. Let me go to Tawanda. Tawanda, been quiet for a minute. Tawanda, what's on your heart?
I don't know. Nothing really.
Okay, let me. I say I was gonna tie it all together when I came to you. So let me ask you this: we're talking about racism and different things about racism. How does it or does it at all play in the work environment? If somebody, I know they got the little systems and stuff like that in place, but are they really effective? If somebody find themselves being racially profiled or discriminated against based on race, what are some of the steps that they should take so they don't have to worry about that happening to them or anybody else in the future?
It depends on if you work for somebody else. If you work for somebody else, then you would report it to whoever your superior is. You would write it in a complaint form, and you would give it to whoever it's supposed to go to. But most corporations, like for instance, now, you can't report, like most major corporations. You just don't do it. Look at the people that's in the army. You can't report like sexual abuse because they'll be dead. Like doctors right now, they can't report like certain stuff about COVID-19 because they'll be fired. So it just depends. It depends on whatever that company has, their guidelines and rules that are established for that company.
Okay. Leonard, you two being in the corporate world, what do you say to that, man? Are the guidelines or the stipulations effective in regards to racial issues in the corporate world?
Well, I wouldn't say I was in the corporate world anymore, but that's where the fight was at. So you have a lot of these issues in companies, and a lot of times the sad part about it is people don't report. If you don't report, it didn't happen as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and now when you say they don't report it, is it because of fear of retaliation or?
Yes.
Wow.
That is exactly why it is. Some people also don't want to be viewed as an outsider or someone that's not going along with the program. So we have to definitely, HR is the place in a corporate situation. If you are an employee, you still can file with the EEOC as well, because there is a federal group, Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, that handle those complaints whenever you can't get responses from the company or the corporation. There's lots of different things that you can do. It depends on where you're at. Like, say, for instance, I file complaints with National Labor Relations Boards as well, EEOC, also making sure police agencies have a way that citizens can report things. It wasn't common for police stations to have this information right up front, where if you have a problem with the police, like say for instance with the police, you can call and report the police for their behavior. Just because they're the police don't mean that they can do whatever they want or say whatever they want. So there is a mechanism there for you to actually report the police for their behavior. The city of Atlanta has a completely funded Citizens Review Board for that very purpose. And they fund it at a level of almost, used to be almost $200,000 to deal with complaints from the public towards the police department. And that body has the ability to recommend disciplinary actions up to termination. So, there's lots of different ways to report it. But what has disappointed me the most is people that just go along to get along until they finally have a nervous breakdown and crack up. Trust me, I have paperwork that will let you know right up front. I don't play racism. And I'm gonna report it. I'm gonna help people report it. I'll meet you in the parking lot about it.
Exactly. And what do you say? What do you say to that, man? Situations in the workplace. And Leonard said, and I really appreciate what he said, because he said a lot of people, because of fear or fear of retaliation, they don't report it. What do you say to that, Anna?
So I agree with Leonard when it comes to what he's saying about fear, because yes, the and I can specifically, well, I've had other, small jobs that I did, but I can specifically talk about what I went to school for. What you see in those doctor's office. Now, remember, a lot of these offices are private practices. So it's very different than it is you working, say, State Farm. Okay. It's very different because that's a chain, right? So you're working here for these doctors, and you've got to hear some of the most disgusting stuff behind closed doors. It's the worst. Like it is truly, I wish patients would only hear and only see what goes on, because it will totally change your mind of what the medical field deals with. And I know Christy can agree with me on this, because it can get overwhelming, and it is overwhelming for anybody to deal with what you hear. I'll give you an example. I heard a doctor say once, these ends and I don't care to have them or treat them in my office, and would not do their dental work like he would other people, but he cared about their medical insurance and getting the dollars from the medical insurance. So this is something that people need to think about as well when you go to pick a doctor. And I know it sounds so silly, but I'm being very truthful. It's what you go through. I would not just pick any doctor, and I know this, and ask the accurate questions when you're there. And Christy, I'm sure Christy can agree with me with a lot of that. That it just it's disgusting. And when I tell you guys it's disgusting, it is stressful. And you know what? It's mostly women who work in that field, and I think that's why we hear more of it, because they're bold enough to do it, because it's a man and they know that you're a woman. Could you agree with that, Christy?
Yeah, it's real prevalent in any especially in the medical field. I can tell you, I was just treated really poorly at an eye care center. I was trying to make an appointment, and the woman just profiled me. I've been going to this physician eye care center for years, ever since I've been wearing glasses. And I called to make an appointment, and she said, well, we only going to see 3 per family. I said, wait a minute. I'm not going to take off 2 days and travel to you for 2 different appointments. I have 4 kids plus myself, so it's 5 people. She comes to tell me, well, if you can't provide transportation. I say, when did I say I didn't have transportation? Number one. Number two, when did I say? Then she's going to suggest that I go to another doctor closer to me. Ma'am, excuse me? That's when I got my ghetto voice on. And I said, excuse me, so I'm to understand. No, I didn't get it. I got educated. I said, excuse me, ma'am. So are you mean to tell me that you are referring me to a different eye doctor than your doctor? So you're wanting me to go see someone else because you don't want to accommodate 2 more people? Well, ma'am, 3 people can't be in the room. I say, I'm not asking for all of us to be in the room together. I'm asking for us to be in the office where you check in at, and they can go into the eye exam room one at a time. That's what I'm asking. Well, if we change it for you, we have to change for everyone. I say, ma'am, I'm not worried about everyone else. I'm worried about myself.
Lord.
So it does get to that point where you handle that racism. And before you mute me and tell me I have to be quiet, Raheem, I do want to say this. I want to say, if anybody, Candace Owens, if you can hear me, please call in at 678-381-1973, because we have a show coming out either this month or next month called Us, and we would love for you to be on that panel. No one is going to abuse you. Nobody's going to do any of that. If anybody in the 58 countries can hear me, and they know how to get in contact with her, call the show at 678. I was about to say 318. 678-381-1973. Because it's a conversation that we all need to sit down and have, and that conversation just needs to be had. So, Candace Owens, this is my spiel to you. If you can hear us, please call 678-381-1973.
I think we have Mr. Toussaint with us this morning. Mr. Toussaint, are you with us? Toussaint, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Toussaint, are you there?
Yes. Right.
Man, look, that was a long delay reaction, brother.
Right.
The radio, man.
Man, I'm always multitasking.
Oh, okay. Well, in the course of you multitasking, let me ask you this question, man. If you were a multimillionaire, had more money than you can count, as a black man, would you or could you still be racially profiled?
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is dress different.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is dress different or be in the right setting. Let me just, somebody said it. I don't know who it said it. I don't know if it was Farrakhan, but it says if we're none liberated till we're all liberated, or something to that sort.
Mm-hmm.
People think they can escape by status. No, you can't. I mean, that may be what you think, but you just ain't. You just didn't meet the right person yet. It's just me now. I just can't. I just know people, and take for instance, didn't Bill Cosby and what is it, the other guy named the little molester?
What's that? Weinstein or?
No, the guy that the singer that
R. Kelly,
like little girls.
R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There has been some people that has done the same thing, including 45, and they ain't spent a day in jail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now watch this. Now,
what's up with that?
Now, see, you just stirred up. So you just stirred up something. Watch this. I'm going to turn the heat up on the aisle just a little bit more. It was on low. Now I'm going to put it on medium or close to high. They got a thing called medium high. Then what do you say to that, man? You got one individual, R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, that they're throwing the everything at them. But you got your other individuals on the other side that they slap them on the wrist and say, don't do that no more. You know that ain't right. Don't do it. That ain't right now. Don't do it. What do you say to that, Leonard?
Well, I don't mix issues. So Bill Cosby issues is completely different. R. Kelly is being attacked specifically by people who are part of the really pushed by the feminist movement and the Me Too movement. That's an entire new movement. So that's where his pressure is coming from. His issue has really nothing to do with racism.
But my thing is, why just him? We had other individuals that has done the same thing. Probably at a larger or even a smaller scale, but still, it's the same thing. The way I see it,
it's because of who he is.
Exactly. But no, there's other people that's.
But they're not R. Kelly,
huh?
But they're not R. Kelly.
I'm talking about you got other individuals like your celebrity. I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could think of his name off the top of my head, but he's supposed to be a big executive in the music, and another one's supposed to be a big executive in the movie industry. You know who it is, Anna?
Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein, okay. Is he locked up?
I don't know. I think he beat it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Paid his way out. He paid his way out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a whole different conversation. But go ahead.
And I'm saying that because what I do not do because of professionalism and things of that nature is if I file a complaint against racism, it must be racism.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be as frivolous as some people talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always going to be unbiased. My emotions don't get involved in issues of this nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bill Cosby, his stature, what he was trying to do, but you also have to remember there's criminal activity involved.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a big difference. The Epstein guy or what have you.
Yeah.
A lot of this has to do with who you pay.
Now, isn't there some allegedly? I have to say allegedly. Isn't there some cases based on the president of the United States right now along the lines of him doing things with young girls and young folks?
Yeah, it's evidence that he's a rapist.
Wow. So I don't know if I was gonna say it that strongly, Leonard, but yeah.
Well, he was accused of rape. And because he was the president, those charges could not be brought against him at this time. So we have to look at, and be a lot more direct about it and strategic about it. If we're going to eliminate racism, first of all, everything ain't racism. It's just not. If you destroy institutional racism, that deals with racism of institutions. You may have racism that's going on right in your neighborhood with your homeowners association. Two different races. It's two different environments.
Yeah, it is.
R. Kelly's issue is the Me Too movement going after him. He has an entire group of individuals interested in making sure he stays locked up and loses all his money.
But see,
and it's not racist at all. It's sexist.
No. That's not. But my thing is this right here. Why him and just him and not go after everybody that's doing it? Because my thing is, if anybody hurt or harm a child, they need to be the full blood of the law need to come down on them, not just an individual, not just don't just single this person out. Yes, what he did was, and if he did it, yes, get him. If he did that to a child, I say it all the time, and there's two people you're not gonna mess with him. I mean, old people and children. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. And so if he did it, get him. But at the same time, don't just sick your dog on him and let the other one walk down the street free.
Well, that's not really how society works.
I understand that. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, being as though this is Black Friday, right? L Dog right on point. There's an element that's missing though. That was a business move with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money you have if you control R. Kelly's catalog?
Right.
If you control R. Kelly's catalog right now, I'm just going to guesstimate that you have at least 10 to 15 billion dollars.
I was thinking 10 billion myself. I was thinking 10 billion.
Yeah, because you play the dozens. Tupac is, right? The man who owns Tupac's catalog, right? And who ran Interscope Records that fired Tupac. Tupac told the world, I do not like him. He's a snake.
That's right.
We have a bunch of money and I will never do business with him. Well, how is it that Athena on her dying bed signed over the rights to Tupac's catalog to the very same man who Pac despised? We talking about Athena Shakur. You understand? But guess how much the catalog is worth, Raheem? $5 billion. His catalog. Michael Jackson was the same way.
Right.
Michael Jackson was killed solely because of it. And this is my belief. And doing the research and looking back at it all, Michael Jackson was killed down or set down. Prince was killed down or set down for one reason and one reason only. Money. Catalogs. Michael Jackson owned 50% of Sony Records. He owned the catalog to the Beatles. Do you know how much money that is?
Not to mention his property holdings.
We ain't even went into the property. We ain't even touched the property. But these business. Tawanda's on the phone, right? She on the line, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing, Tawanda might be able to help me out with this because I've been studying it because I'm getting my master's in organizational management, leadership, and change, right? And one of the first lessons they teach you in organizational management is leadership styles and structure and corporate structure, right? The one thing that Black folk, that us African-American folk don't understand, or that's not taught, that I think should be taught at the high school level, is not only corporate structure, but corporate culture. And it's all a derivative of the leadership style that you choose. Now, most of the places that we all have worked, from Chrissy to Anna to Leonard to you, have a corporate structure that is coercive, meaning that they lead by punishment. So basically, if you're not a member of the crew, you choose not to be clicked up with the right clicks, you automatically, there's things that they'll put down on you that is just absurd, to try and gain some control over you, so that you won't drop the dime, so to speak, or you won't speak up against leadership, even though leadership is making some of the most horrible decisions there is. But it's that fear of retaliation. Coercive leadership style automatically comes with retaliation. They don't tell you that, but that's what it does. It comes with retaliation, and that's how you scare the people. That's how you break the unions up. That's how you do all those things. And Anna know firsthand, full well, what it means to have to deal with a company that has a coercive style of leadership that clearly affects. When you have that style of leadership, it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom, and what it does, divides the people.
Yeah.
So
let me go. Hold on. Let me go. Let me report. You said something about man, Tawanda. Tawanda, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Excuse me. What's on your heart about what Kurt is talking about right now?
He's right. I mean, it's a system of people. So that's why I was saying earlier about it just depends on the corporation and what level you sit in. I mean, are you a shareholder? Are you the board of director? Are you a chairman? Are you a CEO? You know, are you a CFO? It just depends. And most of the time, if you're somewhere on the bottom, then your complaint doesn't get heard. It just depends. It depends. It depends on what spots you've earned. A lot of people, even in corporate America, a lot of people will take things that are not right because they know the reality of coming forward. They know the reality of reporting. Now, should people report? I think absolutely. But you know, you gotta look at what are the consequences for you to go on making a report, specifically if it's somebody from your superior, if it's a superior, if it's someone that's higher than you, that ranks higher than you, if it's somebody that is a shareholder, you know, somebody like that. So it just depends. But he's absolutely right.
Good deal. Anna, what's on your heart? Anna?
Sorry, what Kurt is saying is true. I can't go into details, but right now I am dealing on, you know, the human justice organization. I am dealing, or we are dealing with something like that. It's not even something like that, with that, from the top all the way to the bottom. The bottom, you actually have these people doing the right thing, but then at the top, it's a huge battle because, you know, they're doing a lot of things that should not be done, and doing a lot of illegal things that should not be done, where we've had to, you know, get a lot of people involved to not say too much, you know. This is something that we've been working on real hard for, I would say, about 2 months, right, Kurt?
Yeah, about 2 months.
Yeah, and I mean, it's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of calls. It's taken a lot of things, you know, to be perfectly honest, because I am one of these people that's going to make sure that anything I do correct. and I go all the way and I make sure it closes successfully, I'm like Leonard. I'm going to make sure that I come at you with what's right and the law. With that being said, when I've been threatened from the top, or the organization has been threatened from the top to the bottom, and it's like these kind of things. So what is it? Is it your money and who you're affiliated with, or is it about doing the right thing? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. Because to me, I could care less about the money or, whatever. To me, it's more about doing the right thing and doing the right thing for your rights, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
No, I'm just listening, man, because when the union, as far as it's concerned, when something happens, and I was in the union, something happens on my level.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them, okay, no matter who they were in the company, I said, okay, put me on union time so that I can talk to you on your level.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm no longer an employee, I'm representing union. So that just that quick, my status would change. I'm not just a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the table with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to communicate with them in a different tone, a different level. There's no insubordination. There's no nothing. What I'm saying is, a lot of times we look at people with a status or a financial status too, and we allow them to get away with things. Whereas the little guy, we won't tolerate that from them.
Mm-hmm.
We give respect to people based on their financial status or their position or whatever the case may be. Is that a prejudice? Is that bias? People hope that we fear something. I talked to one of the vice presidents in a company, and something was going on, and she says, "I got to wait till some of these people retire." I said, "But they work for you." But she said, "But you have to understand, that I am a black woman, and there are some things that I can't do that a white man can, regardless whether he works for me or not." And I'm saying to myself, something's wrong with it. But that's how society works.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's crazy.
It is very, 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 but that's reality though. That's reality. Kurt, you had something you wanted to add, Kurt?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, did you get the chance to watch The Banker yet?
I did not. I don't think I've seen it. My wife said I did see it, but I don't remember looking at it.
Bro,
I talked to her. Yeah, she said we looked at it together, but I can't remember it.
Bro, everything that Toussaint just said, and Toussaint, by the way, I don't know if I ever said this to you, but I love your name, brother, because your name represents one of the most powerful events in the history of the world. So I love your name, brother. But if you watch the movie The Banker clearly tells you how the previous society dealt with black folks and business. It lays it right out there for you. It don't sugarcoat it. It don't run around the block. It don't even get on half of the track. It comes right to the bleachers and sat right beside you and tell you this what's going on. I had a comment, but I can't remember the last thing that Anna said. But I had a comment, just a one sentence add to when Anna was speaking. And I can't remember what it was, but I will just preference what I'm saying now is this. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I see it happening on Facebook, even though I'm ready to delete my Facebook account for obvious reasons, for personal reasons. I hope that somebody like Leonard creates a black Facebook. I can no longer sit by and not do nothing and act like I don't see what's going on with this guy. But you know, that's to each his own. That's what he want to do. I can't support that. So, but I've seen where they got now buy black on Facebook, and if you need to purchase something, whatever it is, you can go on there and you can type in, hey, do anybody sell widgets? Somebody will come back and say, hey, holla at such and such, such and such. I actually, my guy, I kind of got like a pseudo partnership with a cleaning service. And I put my guy on like 2-3 other jobs just through that website, just through that little page, because somebody said, hey, I need my carpets cleaned. Do anybody know a black carpet cleaner? So I have seen that on Facebook, but I've typed on Google several times, right here, like I just found a shoemaker out of I think it's out of somewhere in Africa that hand make all the shoes. Shoes are nice. I gotta send you a couple pictures of them, because what inspired me was I saw you had on a pair of shoes one time, the last time I was in Atlanta. And when I went on and typed in black shoemaker, the company popped up. And when I looked at the shoes, they reminded me of a pair of shoes you actually had on, like a pair of Walkers. So I saved them to my phone. I got to send it over to you. But man, I got so many things running through my mind, especially when.
Hold on, I want to pull some more people in. Okay, let me go to Andrea. You know, I call y'all kind of names, sister, but you my sister, and I love you. What's on your heart right now?
Yes, I was just listening to what everybody said, and there's so much truth to everything. Is trying to face the racism of America. I don't know if any of y'all is aware or not, but there's a book out, okay, and it's called The Bus Stop. Okay, I don't know if y'all ever heard this book before. Don't buy it because it's garbage. I'm just going to tell you it's garbage. But the language that is used in there, I didn't think that Amazon would even sell this kind of book, okay? So I made a formal complaint about the book. And they absolutely did nothing. And you want to know why they didn't want to do anything? I feel like because a white person wrote it. And you know what this book is about? What? It's about my daughter. It's literally about my daughter.
Come on,
They're calling her the N-word. They're calling her a little monkey. This woman knew my story and wrote a whole book, published it without my knowledge, and selling it. And I made a complaint, and they won't do anything about it. So I know firsthand what racism is. I know firsthand what it's like to be like totally disrespected by words. And it's clear and it's obvious. And you know what she did? She dedicated the first page in the loving memory of my daughter.
Now, does she call your daughter name?
On the first page, she did. It's a couple story. She also said that she wrote a book about the subject. So she admitted that she wrote the book about Amaya. I mean, she really did in her comments and everything. She just changed some stuff around. But so we're just in this situation in this world where we are so disregarded. So anyway, I got one more story to tell y'all. So I went to the grocery store one day. And I had bought like $200 for groceries. Okay, it's a white cashier. So I go in the store and I got all my grocery and I put it up there. And I'm going in my purse to get cash. And she looks at me, and it's a bunch of people behind me, all of them white. And she looks at me and she says, "Our EBT machine is down today." I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Well, I won't let you know that you're not going to be able to pay with your EBT card." Because
she didn't go there with Andrea. Please tell me she ain't go there with Andrea. Please tell me she ain't go there with Andrea.
I told her, I said, "First of all, you don't put my business out." And I said, "Since we must talk about the EBT, I didn't spend all the money on the EBT. Now I'm paying you cash."
I said, so do you want it or not? I said, don't disrespect me no more. And don't be calling out my business. I said, I come to this store all the time. And matter of fact, I'm going to talk to your manager tomorrow about how you treated me up in here. So I go back the next day. And you know what he do? Because he knows me by name. She didn't know that he knew me, but he knew me by name. And you know what he did for me? He gave me a voucher. And he said, you don't have to pay for nothing. So when I went back to her line, because every time I went to this store, I particularly went to her line on purpose. I went to her line on purpose. I would pass all the empty lines just to go to her line. And you know what she say? Hey, Miss Braxton, how you doing today? Will this be cash or credit? So the next time I popped her with the EBT and laughed at her.
Wow. But see,
all the time.
There's so much stuff that goes on in our society. People, Trump got these people tripping. I say it like that. You know,
say it, Raheem.
Trump got these people tripping, man. And you know, we could dress it up. We could dress it up in all kind of little fancy ways, but end of the day, Trump got these people tripping. And they better get it together, man, because I'm gonna tell you something. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Hold on, Leonard. You're muted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening to the comments because they're true. You know what I'm saying? And that's one part about being a
Leonard, did Trump have these people tripping? Or just something it's just coming to the forefront during this time?
Well, if you involved, you know it ain't. This is not nothing too different than where you go. You in Georgia, that stuff been there. That stuff be there every day. You can go down there and see it if you miss it. You know what I'm saying?
You can say it again.
They ain't the day you wake up in Georgia, ain't no no BS going on. You know what I'm saying? When it relates to racism. So we have to be vigilant about it, especially with our organizations and everything like that, to going in to make sure. And it's not it has to be real racism for me to get involved. Just simply people not liking one another or whatever, I'm not into. But when you actually use the color of a person's skin to treat them a certain way, those are the things that I get involved in. I've been to some place people like, man, we boycotting the gas station. Why? Well, he called somebody. Well, what did that person call him? I've been in gas stations where people are just ridiculous from a customer standpoint. So, and I swear it looks like Raheem is frozen to me. Okay, I thought it was just me, Anna.
Me too.
Because I didn't know if he could hear me or not.
Yeah, he's gone. I think he's having technical difficulties.
He'll go back in. But that was one of the issues that we have with boycotting and things of that nature, and getting people to understand the game has to change. Boycotting only works with people who are in fixed situations. There are some people now who you can boycott all day long, you're not going to affect their bottom line because of the way they structure it. So boycotts work when you have to sit down and plan that boycott out. You got to have people there every day at a certain time. You got to have different people get involved. And really, what I don't like is the fact that why I got to come in your area and boycott. You should be boycotting. You live there. You know, you can't tell me this man treats you bad and you still in that store every day.
Right. That's what folks.
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, y'all get a chance, look up
They kicked me out. They kicked me out. They kicked me out.
We got you.
There we go. Now we back. Boy, can't fry that chicken in water. Had to fry it. Had to get the grease.
Leonard held it down for you. Leonard held it down for you.
I knew he would.
Go ahead, Kurt. Kurt was saying something, a response.
Yes, he was.
Look up when y'all get a chance, look up Vincent apostrophe S Crab Shack, Baltimore, Maryland.
We talking about food now?
The discrimination and racism part.
Oh, okay. I lost it for a second. Go ahead, Kurt. Hit me out.
What happened was he obviously was in his office on his Facebook, and all of his crab shacks are in predominantly black neighborhoods, except one, which is over in a predominantly white neighborhood called Dundalk. Well, he obviously was on his computer, something in his office. And I'm not sure if this is the story of how it came out, but he was obviously on his computer in his office, on his Facebook. He had something come up. He got up and left without dropping his Facebook page, without closing his Facebook page. So one of the employees had to go in the office. When they came in the office, the computer was lit up and they saw what he was putting on Facebook. And he was putting a whole bunch of racial stuff like, you know, the best way to keep a monkey working is to feed him a banana, treat them like slaves and they'll love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was like he had read, it was almost like he had read the Willie Lynch letter and took that for real and just brought it to the current day without having all of the violence that's in the Willie Lynch letter, right? So the employee obviously took a picture of it and then put them on blast on Facebook. But listen, I'm not excluded in the fact that it's right around the corner from my house. One of his joints is right around the corner from my house. I don't and had just spent money a week before this all came out. I'm on the way down the road and AJ sent me she shared the post with me, said, Kurt, look at this. And I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that's around the corner. Well, the folks in this community, just like Leonard said, the folks in this community have been boycotting ever since that day, right here. And that was the same day it hit the mainstream, the same day that I was on the way to South Carolina to get Cario. That's when it came out. So what I did was, look, I know that my situation, I can't be out there boycotting them people. So you know what I do? When I go to the grocery store, they had 2 for $5 cases of water. So I'll buy 2 cases of water. I keep 1 for my house. I stop around there and I get them a case of water, let them know, look, I appreciate what y'all doing. And add to that, guess what? I was in Dundalk with a client. I finished up my day and I wanted some crabs. So I was going to stop because I knew it was a crab shack around the corner. I pull around the corner. As soon as I pull in, I didn't know the name of the shop. As soon as I pull in, I saw Vincent's Crab Shack. I back right up. As soon as I back up, white dude getting out of his car, got my window down. He said, hey, man, so you ain't going to get him either. I said, no, man, I can't spend no money here. I said, no, man, God don't approve of that, man. Dude turned right around, got right back. As soon as I said, God don't approve of that, man, he turned right around, got right back in his car, and he followed me right out the parking lot. But they've been boycotting him, and it's working because he ain't getting no business. He done had the news come out, and he said on TV and apologized and everything. And people like, no, we don't. The things you said, bro, you don't deserve to be in business when you done made all this money off of black.
A lot of times, Kurt, a person in a situation like that will apologize, and they'll try to make it seem very sincere in their apology. But when you ask the question, why are you apologizing? Because of what you did, or are you apologizing because of the fact that you got caught in what you did? And so his apology, and he's saying that his bottom line ain't what it used to be. I think, and I don't know the situation. I'm basing it on what you said. I think his apology was based upon the fact that he got caught in what he was doing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Raheem, he done lost. I kid you not, man. Listen, when I tell you he was jumping, he was like us 20, 30 years ago in the street getting money, held dog. When I tell you jumping, he was jumping. Like I'm talking lines out the store. You know what I mean? I thought the boy was selling crack up out there. You know what I'm saying? He was jumping, and he wasn't just doing crabs, right? He ain't doing crabs, all fish, shark, shrimp. You cook it, or you could buy it raw. I mean, he was jumping. Guess what? That thing hit the Mayweather. He probably losing about $200,000 or $300,000 a day. He like Messenger, Raheem. That's who it makes me think about. Remember, Maurice was making all that money.
Yeah, yeah.
Came out who he was, and he was losing almost $400,000 a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, nah, we not shopping there. But yeah, when you get a chance, look it up, Raheem. It's all over. When you punch it into Google, it's going to jump right up. Vince's Crab Shack, Baltimore, Maryland.
Good deal. Good deal. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Bishop.
Good
Bishop.
morning, Bishop.
Hey, Bishop. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm great. I'm enjoying the conversation, and I'm listening and enjoying as usual.
Good deal. Well, I want to ask you what's on your heart, brother, because we put a lot of stuff out there, man. And this story that Kurt just said, man, this young man, he is apologizing. Yeah, he's apologizing, but I don't know the sincerity of it because of the fact that, man, I'm losing so much money. I got to do something. Man, I got to do something. So let me go on here and apologize to these people. Let me apologize to these ends, and hopefully they being so as forgiving as they always are, they'll forgive me and come back in here and let me continue this beautiful life that I'm living. Bishop, what do you say to that?
Well, maybe 30 years ago, we'd be more forgiving. Today, in today's time, we have to pay attention, because if we allow them to continue to ride our back, they'll do it. Dr. King summed it up best. As long as a man's back has been, a man will ride it. When you straighten up your back, you can't ride it anymore. We bring in trillions of dollars into a lot of these businesses. And if they're going to disrespect us by any means, by pointing out, oh, you're going to use your EBT card or using the N-word, and you said it best, there's no sincerity in the apology. The apology is only directed towards us getting your money, or me being able to get your money. So from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. There are things that should not come up. I don't care whatever comes to your head, should automatically come out your mouth because you think you're big and bad enough to do it. We have a man in the White House that has already came along and depicted the mindset of the white Americans today that really want to go back to 400 years of slavery. And we're not going back. We're not going to put up with it. We're not going to tolerate that type of injustice or ignorance that's being disseminated today among our brothers and sisters of black or brown color. We're not going to do it. So we're going to stand up. We're going to protest. We're going to make our voices heard. Enough is enough. Leonard said something the other day, and like I said, man, we're just both running on cylinders, connecting in every aspect. Martin Luther King is dead. We loved him, appreciate what he did, but ain't no Martin Luther Kings now. And I'm a preacher, and I tell anybody all day long, but I'm not your traditional preacher now. If you throw a rock at me, I promise you, I'm gonna throw one back at you. That's it.
Not
I'm calling something, Bishop. I'm calling on something else that you said, and I got to get some clarity on this here. I want to get some clarity. Are you telling me that you listen to Leonard?
You know what, Raheem? You just you petty.
Are you telling me that you listen to Leonard? Oh my
petty, bro.
I listen to Tucson. I listen to Anna. I listen to Annie. I listen to whoever talks.
Oh, hold on. That's a tough. You say you listen to Tucson? Oh,
that's my buddy. Leave my buddies all alone, all of them.
Are you saying you even listen to Tucson? Oh, Lord.
Hey, see, I'm gonna tell you, Raheem, sometimes you be sleeping, but Kirk be going off, boy.
You listen to him too? Oh, man, you be listening to Kirk too? Man, I got to hang up on you, brother.
Bishop know I ain't playing with him. Bishop know I ain't playing with him. I gotta talk to Bishop so I can get a little closer to God, because I'm not no more. I'm not playing with him no more, man.
Hey, Kurt.
I can't do it.
Kurt, it's so funny that people say that, because I always tell people, y'all know I'm about practice. So nonviolence is really a practice. And I always tell people that's why I'm not out there anymore very much, because there are certain situations that the Holy Ghost tells me don't go to.
Yeah.
Because I can honestly, I can't stand there and let you put your hands on me. You're not finna to be blowing air in my face, cuz.
Right.
I'm coming at you.
He said, blow air in my face.
I come across you at a conference table.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get disrespectful enough, we will turn it out. You understand?
They'll be totally different.
I'm getting hood. Then if you street, then I'm gonna go to the street with you.
I'm a shirt and tie guy. I'm doing this because I'm chilling right now. You see me, I'm very comfortable. But when I was in corporate America, it was different because a lot of my customers I counseled over the phone and things, and before they met me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they'd show up and they'd realize I was black.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started looking funny. Because as if a black man couldn't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like a dog almost when it comes to sense. And if I feel that energy, it really makes me, don't bring that negative energy at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been working, man, I tell you, I've been in therapy for 13 years.
Absolutely.
I don't tolerate and there's nothing you can say to me that's gonna make me understand why I ought to bow down to that white foolishness.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad he said that because
now y'all know we got to pull some more people in the conversation. Now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm glad he said that because I try not to involve myself that deep because God's still working with me, man.
Yes.
And the one thing that God has shown me is that, you know what, Kurt, as an African American man, you can no longer sit by and watch this man denigrate and disrespect, but yet paint the picture as if you're the greatest disrespecter and denigrator of women on the planet when he is doing it tenfold. It's completely, you know what I mean? So I can't imagine I'm like Len, I can't imagine being, for example, at a march in one of these so-called Confederates screaming at this woman and spitting in her face and all that passive, now I hear King. I hear King saying,
let me say this, Kurt. And so basically, because one of the things I wonder about, I want to go to Anna with this as well. One of the things I wonder about is when a lot of our brothers and sisters, black and brown, has been assaulted and even killed in the streets. And everybody standing around with the cameras and with the cell phones and stuff like that. All that is good. You want to have the footage. You want to have that. But isn't there a point in time where the officers did that thing that they did to George Floyd, and he had his knee on his neck, sitting there with his hand in his pocket, and had one officer supposedly holding everybody off, with the other two officers holding the legs. Are you saying to me, Kurt, that there should have come a point in the time where somebody just threw caution in the wind and pushed them off the man?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. Let me put it even further. Let me take it a step further than the question you just asked. If all those people standing around, and listen, I'm not an advocate for everybody carry guns. I'm not an advocate for that because everybody don't have the mental capacity to tote a firearm. Let's just keep it 100. We have a mental health issue in America. But I am going to say this, and I'm going to keep it 100. Straight to the street. Do you think those police officers, and anybody can answer this question, do you think those police officers would have did what they did to George Floyd or any black man and or white man if everybody standing around would have had a firearm?
No. Anna, what's on your heart?
I think most of you guys had seen the post. So I'm going to answer that, and then I have two quick things to add to what we've been talking about. I think people have seen on my post that I was a person who was adamantly against carrying concealed weapons. I think us as brown and black community should carry concealed weapons, and Kurt is right. Not everyone is mentally stable to do that, but carry something. I don't care if it's a taser, carry something to protect yourself. I am very adamant that we should carry cameras on us such as law enforcement does and on our vehicles. You know, because of what's been going on, and it happens in both communities. Just, you know, one is more heard of, and the other one, because of immigration, is not as heard about. With that being said, I do believe that if I would have been standing there, I don't care what the repercussions would have been. Maybe I might have been right side by side by George Floyd, but you know what? I would have showed America and the world that I made that difference. And I stepped up and did the right thing, even if it meant my life. And, you know, it is what it is. Different people feel different ways. Another thing I wanted to add is I've been to different places that the disabled are also, and this is another community that's also deals with a lot of discrimination and racism towards them. I've been at supermarkets and I've seen the disabled being mistreated while they're bagging by a cashier. I've actually reported it, and I went right back by the cashier's register, you know, and I actually told them, you know, the next time I went into the supermarket, I did not appreciate what you did, because I think people should be treated equally. You know, this person was yelling, cussing, and whatnot to this disabled person. This happened like 4 years ago, you know, and of course, everyone knows I have a heart for that community, because I myself am the mother of a teenager with special needs. So with that being said, you know, make sure you watch for that too, and that you report it, because the right thing needs to be done for this community as well. The next thing is racism and Facebook. It seems that even when I step out to anywhere, you can just feel the tension between our communities, and I'll say brown and black, and the Caucasian community. And I just don't understand this. And it's even on Facebook. It's like, it's divided. It's like 50-50, or all social media. And it's gotten to the point where I ask myself, is this worth even having the social media? Is this worth even shopping where it should be everyone? Because the division is so much that we question anymore. Do I shop from, you know, somewhere where everyone's supposed to be there, or do I just shop from my community? Lately, what I've been doing is shopping from the brown or black community for about since the beginning of the year. Or no, it might have been the end of last year. But still, you know, it's just something that I don't know what it's going to take to change besides prayer, but it's gotten really bad out here. I don't know if you guys feel that tension even on social media or when you guys go out, but I, as a Latina, feel it.
Good deal.
Everywhere I go.
Absolutely, and it's absolutely there, man. It's so thick right now. You can actually cut it with a knife, with a butter knife. You can cut it with a butter knife, and so that's how thick it is. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? I think that's Rico. Rico, you there? Rico, you there?
He's late. Calling
me. Rico, my bad, Rico. This is Rico calling from Anderson. How's everybody doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. You been listening for a minute?
I got started about 10 minutes ago, man. When I came in, y'all had me laughing right off the top. I gotta get caught up on what y'all were talking about.
Let me ask you this question, Rico, and I'm gonna take it back a few pages. If you're a millionaire, plenty of money, more money than you can spend, sitting good, okay, but you're a black man, can you be racially profiled?
Easily. Money for me, I've said this plenty of time before, you know, because you hear a lot of people like Dr. Claude Anderson and other people say that the black community can't progress until we get our economic structure right. But my defense to that would be, what do we have in place to prevent them from doing another Black Wall Street, another Tulsa, or Rosewood, or Greenwood, or Wilmington?
was to prevent them from coming in and just brutalizing and terrorizing our Black Wall Street and destroying it on a lot. You know, it could be any kind of manipulated plan to come in and just justify violently doing something like that. I think what was that? They bombed that neighborhood in Philadelphia a long time.
1985, baby.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, and so you know, I look at that situation and I realize now that we got to get out of this mindset that economic success will achieve us American equality. It doesn't work. We still have to go out and realize that we have to arm and protect ourselves, or we're gonna stay in this continued cycle.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Bishop, what's on your heart?
Two things I want to say, and you know, we take these conversations, even though we may add a little humor, it's dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate the humor that we can add to it, but the reality is what we face on a daily basis. My mind jumped to a conversation that you posed yesterday, or question rather, about Michael Jackson. He bleached his skin,
mm-hmm.
and his mindset was that he wanted to be white, but he still died a black man with white face.
Mm-hmm.
You're black, and I don't care how many millions of dollars that you have, you're gonna still be reminded that you're black. I saw that someone posted Bill Cosby. I think it was Tucson this morning.
So
he's
why did he need a
very well off black man, but yet he finds himself in prison. And if you look at his count and the number of years he has to serve as opposed to Weinstein, then
mm-hmm.
we look at the overall serious misjustice that's being done on blacks as it is on whites.
Mm-hmm.
And being filthy rich doesn't change the fact that the color of your skin is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we deal in a society that still looks at us as a third or fourth rate citizen in this country. We don't teach hate, we teach love, but we bring awareness to the reality of what we face on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever get it misconstrued, because the color of your skin does not delineate who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. King did say this, and I appreciate it. Don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character.
Absolutely.
And as we were talking, and I love Anna's boldness. I love her mindset. She is willing to die to help save the life of another. But the reality is, and I served 12 years in law enforcement, and people don't want to get shot. And they see this man, and if they had a gun, would all of them have pulled the gun? I don't know. I can't say they would have. But if one had pulled, then those other four, even though their knees on George Floyd's necks and back, they probably would have shot this individual. I'm thinking about E.J. Bradford in Alabama, Birmingham, 2019, who went to aid. He's a military vet, went to assist in a shooting. And when the officers got on the scene, they saw the gun and they shot and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
He did something good to help, but he lost his life in the process. I think that man, he needs a hero's reward, and yet nobody really talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about what this man did, how he offered and hazarded his life to help save others, but he became a victim.
Mm-hmm. Bishop said,
can I chime in on?
Yeah,
can I chime in on that?
Go.
I agree.
Hold on, Rico. Let me do this real quick. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna wait till Kurt come back, or Kurt stepped away. So go ahead, Rico, and I'm gonna play this quick clip. But go ahead.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm down here in Alabama, and I saw that firsthand right after it happened myself. You know, they didn't want to release the body cam footage. They didn't want to release the footage from the store. Still a lot of camera footage they haven't released. And on top of that, you have witnesses that released video that, you know, pretty much showed a lot of what happened. And that's going to go back to what happened with George Floyd too. Now, you always hear a lot of people say what they would have did, but just as those cops sat down and watched and didn't do nothing, it takes a special person to be ready to go out there and sacrifice and risk their life to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of people say what they would have did. And don't get me wrong, I believe a lot of them would have. But I do understand I would have been one of them. But over my years of seeing how people won't step up for other people,
a lot of those people, they were gonna stand there and watch anyway. Because I've seen too many people who stand by and watch fights that needed to be broken up. They might watch a fight between a son and a father, two sisters, two brothers, and they'll sit back and watch for their entertainment. I've seen people watch people drown, and I had to jump in and save them. You know, so there's so maybe they don't kill. Maybe they do want to watch that happen, and they got some kind of sick thrill going on within them. But most of the time, people panic. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They don't know what it takes to pull that person from that burning car.
Exactly. I'm gonna play this clip. I wanted to wait till Curtis came back because it's one of his favorite people. Now I have not seen this clip. I hope it's clean. The person that's going to actually be speaking, I don't think he'll use any bad language. So if the clip ain't right, y'all please forgive me. I have not prefaced it. Usually I will preface it a little bit before I play it. But this is Denzel Washington, and he's saying it's not color, it's culture. So let's see what he's talking about.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color, it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven Spielberg did Schindler's List. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but they're cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
Right.
So it's a culture.
You know about a hot comb scenario?
No, she don't know about no hot comb.
Because that's,
you don't know. You don't know nothing about. See how everybody laughed? That's a cultural difference. That's not a race difference. That's just that motion. That's all I gotta say, right?
I know what a hot comb is.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now I could go further, but and I don't know where that conversation is gonna go because, like I said, again, I haven't prefaced the video. It's about 2 more minutes left on it. But Kurt, he said it's not a color; it's a cultural difference. What do you say to that, Kurt?
Color is only connected to it as a means to fuel it. Color is the fuel. Culture is the different. It is the vehicle. You see what I'm saying? Color is the fuel, and culture is the vehicle. Racism. In so many words, I get what he's saying. Man.
Hold on. Let me see. I see you in there. I know when you get there, brother.
Too long,
yeah,
bro.
I know. You know what's on your heart, brother. Talk to me. It's not color, it's cultural.
Well, I mean, I've been about that whole what he just said is 100%. A lot of times people lump things together that you have to separate. I'm different than a lot of other people. I've been in forums where, you know, you got one side or this side, one people believe this side. Everybody in the room black. I'm right dead center. Because I'm about non-biased assessments of things to get to the root of the problem. But then again, I'm not so crazy to believe that everybody need to make a movie that I like.
What?
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you have a lot of these discussions, and I tell a lot of black people, I tell you what, then why don't you make one? Or don't go see that movie. Because it's about freedom for me. It's not about one side. It's about freedom for everybody to do what it is. If we're going to be an open society, everybody must have the same access to say and do what they want to do. I don't care what white people talk about in their personal time. But it better not show up in the public space.
That's totally different animal.
That's because see, when I say stuff in my house, that ain't for Raheem. That ain't for Anna. One lady used to tell me, you know, brother, I was on your webpage, but I seen something that wasn't of God. Good. Because we're not going to get along no way. Because you want to dictate to me, but you did the right thing by unfriending me. Because a lot of people say, like, even my mother used to cringe sometimes. Do you have to be so rough? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, they ain't gonna get it. Otherwise, they ain't gonna get it.
Because that's one thing about us, and we get so emotional about things as opposed to just fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Go if you see a story you don't like, put out a better story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Kurt, or I'm pretty sure Kurt may be offered a role that he really not comfortable with for whatever reason. But the next black man may be comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Like I told him about Crash. As much as I love Don Cheadle, mentally, I just couldn't sit there and watch that. Because I can't imagine you taking advantage of my wife this way. And you know, I'm that way for a reason, because one, I'm just so strong about it. If you say so, my wife doesn't like work, a corporate never has worked like that. Because if you come at my wife, I'm going to come at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't go to work and then come home and tell me, you know, such and such at the job been doing this, that, and the other. Come on, we going to work tomorrow. Where you stay? You know where you stay?
Mm-hmm.
Like Anna's situation at that dentist office. Wouldn't be no more dentist office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
So I try to get people to understand that it's not that you be so hypersensitive about everything. Look for the truth in the matter. Is it a freedom matter? Or is it just something you don't like? There are some black men and black men and women, like say, for instance, I'm 50. The N-word don't bother me. But I'm sensitive to the fact that it bothers other people. And white folks can't call me that. And well, it ain't fair that you can call me, and I'll hit you in your face. Now, you want to keep saying it? Because we're not going to discuss it. I just told you don't say it. That's how the rules go right here. Don't follow the rules, smack. That's how I teach you to behave.
Where's this black man that hit this white person in the face? Where is he?
But if you ask anybody, if you from hoods and things like that, you can't just sit around and people just do whatever they want and say whatever they want, because you're gonna be a punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that goes for on the job as well with me. How you gonna sit there and disrespect somebody and don't expect somebody to come after you?
Absolutely.
Treat people how you want to be treated. I treat everybody with respect. No one can ever tell you I came after them for no reason or whatever. You deserved it. You earned it. So, you know, my people, it ain't about that little bit of time I'm gonna do. It's about you knowing I'm not putting up with your mess, bro.
You know what? He said so because, you know, most of us won't do it because of the fact that because we know that there's a
consequence. There's a consequence. I paid the consequence.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what the consequence is, don't you? You know what the consequence is?
But hey, you know what? Jail don't bother me neither, because I've been in the military.
I know Leonard's the police. He's the police.
Right.
He's
I'm about righteousness, bro.
Listen. Leonard might be the police, but he hit that white man in the face.
And see, that's the thing about it. And that was the difference with me. And I did not notice this until I came to the South. That people actually thought about that. And I was like, that's the problem with the South.
That's a phobia that they have. I mean, it's
exactly.
a phobia.
It's a serious phobia that you cannot retaliate against white people for the garbage that they do.
It's been planted in their minds, man, and unfortunately, they live there. Unfortunately, they live there, man.
And even in business, even in corporate America, everywhere you go, we work on this creed. Don't let that false sense of security get you hemmed up in here.
Exactly. Let me go to excuse me. Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
You know that what Leonard is saying sounds to me comes from a lot of bravery and courage. And that is true. You know, that goes back to what I was saying a second ago about the people that actually would have stepped up and saved George Floyd. I don't really like to go into personal stories too much, but when I was 25, I had to be a union representative at a foundry, and I was over 300 people.
But the surprising thing to me was when I started this job was the amount of older black men that some of them I looked up to. They were like a local legend. Some of them I looked up to when I was young, but when I got out there, I saw how tap dancing and coonery, how much coonery was in it.
Boy,
how quiet they were, how they overlooked or ignored a lot of stuff. And I was like, man, wait a minute. What's going on? I ain't expecting y'all. It's 1996. Why are y'all putting up with this? Why y'all letting these supervisors joke with y'all and say this disrespectful stuff? So, you know, I started getting categorized, started getting targeted, and was being told by some of these older black men, you better shut up. You running your mouth too much, they're gonna fire you. And that's that scary boss man's mentality. You know, and even when it comes to stepping up for yourself, knowing that you're gonna call the police, I used to wonder, well, why is it that they worried about sacrifice and going to jail? Because to me, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I had to go home to my sons, knowing that I let a man talk down to me. You know, my sons might not realize it, but if I let this man talk down to me on the job, if we happen to see each other out in public, he might do the same thing in front of my son. He might call me this ugly nickname that most people, I wouldn't want people to know I let him call me. So I asked myself, why are these guys so scared? These guys been out here since before I was born, and I mean everybody in the hood, they look up to these guys, but they up here listening to this racist stuff. They were programmed. They were programmed to obey. The courage and bravery that should be in our race of men is lost. It is mainly lost because they don't want to lose their income or their livelihood.
Again,
maintain the things that they want to get.
Again, like I said, man, said this about earlier. They sell out, man. They sell out.
Man, I'm not. Don't call them sell out. Don't. I see. That's one term I really don't like because there are some real sellouts around here, real ones.
Yeah.
And then there are other people who are doing the best they can to make ends meet and provide for their families and things. That's not a sellout. See, this is why we have to stop looking at Uncle Tom and things like that way. That's not a sellout. You people say that just to try to hurt someone's feelings. You call everybody a sellout that don't have an opinion like yours or what have you. But that's not true.
But see, my thing is, and I respect the way that you feel. That's the way you feel about it. But I feel slightly different. To me, they sellouts, brother. And you know, like I say, I'm gonna respect the way that you feel. That's fine.
Well, what did they get for it?
A better question, Leonard, is what did they lose from it?
But that's not the real definition. If you give me something in exchange for my integrity,
that's what they think. That's
my character.
They think that they're benefiting because of the fact that they're able to keep a certain status. They're able to keep money. They're able to keep this. They're able to keep the house. They're able to keep by selling out and lowering themselves. They're able to keep their house. They're able to keep their car. They're able to keep this.
Do you know that some young black people are so ignorant to believe that in education, having nice things, working a regular 9-to-5 job, being a part of a working corporate team, you don't want them to get the notion that this is somehow a sellout, because that's not it.
That's not my point. My thing is this right here. If they get to a point where they're lowering themselves or they're allowing things to happen that they know should not happen, and they stand for it and they stand right there on it, they're selling out, man, just to keep their social status, just to keep the material things.
Well, they ain't got nothing.
They're selling.
I think Raheem is talking about, honestly. Raheem is talking about. I hear you, Jesse, but I want to know who that on that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, who doing that? Right? I mean, really.
I'm gonna say this right here. I know.
I'm gonna watch it today, Kurt. I'm gonna watch it today.
Don't worry about it. That's not what you do. That's not. But you will be amazed, Leonard, the amount of people that has certain status in life. I saw, and this shocked the mess out of me. I saw Terry Crews in an interview that he did with Don Lemon, and this brother was selling out, man. I sit there and watch the interview. I shook my head. I had great respect for that brother, man. But I looked at that interview. I looked at it last night, Yeah. The things he was saying, he's selling out, man. He got little shows. He got all the things that he's doing right now. He feel like he's on the up. He don't want to lose that, so he's saying things to appease certain individuals. He's selling out, man. He's selling.
Like I say, I used to love Terry Crews.
Used to, me too.
I used to have a lot of respect for him.
Used to.
But my thing didn't have nothing to do with what he just said.
Hold on, brother.
My thing didn't have nothing to do with what he just said. What I had the problem was when he let the man walk up to him and do what he did. I call my mom, my wife say I gotta quit telling people I'm small. I'm not the biggest person in the world.
So you're gonna change the way you say it?
Because she said it don't make sense. You too big. Okay. So you gotta quit telling people.
Leonard got some guns. Leonard don't like.
So if you walk, I mean, you gotta think of how I looked to Terry Crews. Terry Crews was an athlete. He was this brother. He was always the tough guy in the movies. And now when you see him with saying what, instead of playing a role, when you hear the words that come out of his mouth, you realize how that brother has been emasculated.
Yep.
And to me, he just looks the part.
Yeah, he's been broken.
You know, I hope he can get it together. But hey,
what? Hold on, Rico. I'm gonna come to you.
You don't owe me nothing.
I want to say this. What? And Kurt, you would. I'm gonna throw this to you because I know you would know this. Who is that guy, man? He's a big dude, man. I think it's Reigns something. Big muscle.
Ving Rhames.
That's who it is. And he played in a homosexual role.
You know my Holly, yeah, Ving Rhames.
Which homosexual role?
He was the firefighter.
He played several. He's
done it several times.
Yeah, several times.
He played a character by the name of Hollywood. You remember that?
Yeah,
Hollywood. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he played the character Hollywood, who was I guess you could. I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but he was a dude who dressed like a woman.
Look at Anna. Look at Anna right now. Boy, she wore it all on her face.
No, I'm sorry. I think, and you guys forgive me. I love everyone. Okay, I have no attack against anyone.
Be careful, Anna. Be careful.
No.
I got you, Anna. Go ahead.
As a man, there's just certain things that you should not sell out on. As a woman, there's just certain things as a Christian that we should not sell out on. And that's just all I'm going to say for any amount of money. I don't care. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to go into detail because I might upset some people with how I truly feel, but I have nothing against, and I will clear that out against anyone. I love everyone, and I love everyone for who you are, what you are, whatever. But there's just certain things that we should not sell out on for any reason.
I'm glad she said that. You know what I think?
Hold on. I said I was gonna go to Rico. Hold on, I got him on standby.
My bad.
Go ahead, Rico.
You know that was big what you said, because I worked with a guy one time that let it come out of his mouth that it didn't matter what the supervisors or the management did to the next black person, as long as they wasn't doing it to him or messing with his money.
Exactly.
And this same person had to come back full circle later on when he realized that they were just appeasing him because, you know, they had to make it not so obvious what they were doing. And so we have that divide and conquer, because we still have, for some reason, we cherish being able to provide for the final things, the material things that we favor more than our legacies and integrity. But sort of going back to that Terry Crews thing, I had a cousin that played pro football with him in the NFL, and he told me that he knew Terry was going to do that when Terry first got into Hollywood, because when he was playing with the Redskins, he would say controversial stuff in the locker room, and they knew then he was conservative, but he was ultra talented. They say he was one of the most talented people that they ever saw, but he just didn't fit in with the rest of the players. And so he was more into being successful as an entertainer, because he could draw, he could sing, he could dance. I mean, they say he entertained the heck out of the locker room, but he just didn't have the same mindset as the rest of the guys. So he said after a while they realized he would sell out, because he started doing the TV show. I think it was called Gladiators.
Yeah.
And he called himself Pretty T. and they would be on the show, and he portrayed the role of a drug dealer, a thug, like a kingpin. But what they were doing, they would go out there and they have all these guys go through these little obstacle courses to defeat the characters that was on the show, and he was the main character. But from then on, he went on the white girl show and started doing all that dancing and just portraying all the stereotypes of a Mandingo that was under control. And so I remember when my cousin told me like 10 years ago that Terry was going to do this. So in the process, I'm watching Terry and I'm like, man, that's sad what he's doing, but it's expected because there's a lot of us out here that have that dream to want to have the image and the money and success and think they're going to be loved by everybody.
Wow. Go ahead, Kurt, and I'm gonna go to the phone right after you.
Here's what I think is the difference. Well, actually, everybody right on point. And Terry Crews showed you that he was willing to sell out when he did Friday After Next. If you remember when he did Friday After Next, he played the stereotype of the dude of what the industry like to call Big Sugar Lou.
Yeah.
That's a booty bandit. Let's keep it.
Yeah.
So, but, oh my God, what was I going to say? Oh man, hold on.
Kurt, you got so much going on in your mind today, bro. You got so much going on. Let me do this, bro. I promise I'll come back to you. We're gonna be here just a few more minutes. But let me go to Bishop. Bishop, what's on your heart? And I want to touch on two songs as well. Bishop, what's on your heart?
Man, let me say this. Now, this is a great comment. I sent you a message. I don't know if you saw it, but we're talking about racism. Do y'all not think or believe that there are blacks that are racist against blacks?
Yes. Oh, Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah.
Bishop, there he goes once again in my brain. Because you put up the definition earlier in the show of racism. Do you know how many black people will argue you down?
Now, Leonard, you just took his spot, right? he had a
go ahead, Bishop.
Okay, go ahead, Bishop.
I just asked the question, because a lot of times I've experienced it firsthand by us, and we can stand there and fight for each other all day. When we'll fight for some who doesn't have the courage to stand up and fight for themselves, then they be the ones who, turn against us and start cahooting with, somebody of a different race. And it's something that we experience. Secondary, I want to clear the myth about the Uncle Tom phrase. If anybody do their research, I don't care what Beecher Stowe wrote about Uncle Tom's Cabin. This man is really a hero. His name is Julius Henson, if I'm pronouncing it right. But he was a hero. And so if you do your research on Uncle Tom, you'll find out who this man really is. But yet, and as Leonard says, and some I think Kurt says, how people try to emasculate us and make us less than what we actually are. So when we use that term, I understand why we use it based on a novel. But the reality is, if we look at it in reality, the man that we really identify as the Uncle Tom was a hero to us as people. And so a lot is being said. I love the conversation. I love the boldness. Leonard and I are roughly almost about the same size. So when he says he's small in stature, but he is big. And he don't care how tall a person is. Dynamite comes in a small package. And they're building down. So don't let the size fool you.
Exactly.
As I shut up, there's one movie, I love it. I'll sit there and watch it over and over and over and over again. It's called Buck and the Preacher. So if you ever look at me, I'm the preacher. And the Bible was his peacemaker. But inside the Bible, he had a piece of steel.
He had a gun in there.
Listen here, I got my Bible. Peace be unto you. But if you act up, you're going to be still. So whenever I go out somewhere,
Lord, I don't know.
Arm bearers.
I don't know where in the world Bishop going with this. We look at Bishop talking about shooting the preacher. Who shot him? The preacher shot him. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Arm bearers. Smith.
After it was done.
Donald Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah,
and don't you talk about shooting nobody. Don't you talk about shooting nobody, Donald.
Man, I sleep on mine. sit on it too. Because I ain't tolerating none of that. None of it. None of that foolishness. I'm not going to have it.
Donald, would you pull the trigger, brother?
No bail money, because I'm not going to run.
Will you pull the trigger?
Run. I'm going to sit down there and wait for him to come get me.
Well, Donald, I'm just asking a question. Will you pull the trigger, though? Will you pull the trigger? Ain't no just pointing at him. Will you pull the trigger, brother?
Ain't got no choice.
No, I'm
I don't really got that in my mind. It's not premeditated. It's not going to be murder. I'm not going to have to fool. I'm not going to hunt for nobody. But I'm not going to let nobody come get me, period. Let me say what I wanted to say. I'm going to get off of that. When you talk about us being prejudiced against us, they always get one. They always get one, and they give them a little piece of the pie. So that and I don't know, we don't want to say they sellouts, but long as it don't bother them, they don't say nothing. They may have position, they may have money, but they keep their mouth shut because they don't get the full blunt of it. When we was in the union, and I know what brother was talking about, but the union and people that represent the union, sometimes, and that's why they didn't care for me, because I don't care who you was. If you didn't handle it, then I'm going to who you work for. And everybody works for somebody. And they said, well, you went to the vice president. I told you I was going to do that. Because here's what I do. When I represented somebody, I represented them as if you're doing it to them. You're going to try it with me tomorrow. And I'm not finna have it. Period. You know, man, we're going to just, no, you don't need to do me no favors. Because that's what happens. They do us favors. And I heard Curtis talk about Tucson, and I remember Lee Overture, and I wanted to name my son Lee Overture because of Tucson Lee Overture. But my brother said, no, you might not want to do that, because what happened to him, they put him in close and tricked him. Tricked him.
Wow.
And that's what we fall for, the tricks of the game. By getting a little prestige. That ain't worth a time. I'm just saying.
Now, Curtis, I pulled up the lyrics to a song, and I can't say a lot of lyrics. I can't say a lot of them, but it's Public Enemy. It says some Elvis was a hero to most, but Elvis was and it goes on.
But he never met. To me, he was racist and plain. Him and plain.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm ready. I'm hyped because I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appeal no stamp.
I love Public Enemy. I love the music.
PE was something else, man.
Don't get me on my Public Enemy, because you know what I'm going to do, Raheem. I'm on this one. I got a letter from the government today. Open and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever, pinching me, giving up. I said, man, they never gave up about a brother like me and myself, because they never did. I wasn't with it, but just that very minute it occurred to me. These suckers had authority. Cold sweating as I dwell in my cell. How long has it been? They got me sitting in a state pen. I gotta get out, but the thought was thought before. I contemplated a plan on the cell floor. I'm not a fugitive on the run, but a brother like me's begun to be another one. Yeah. Public Enemy serving time for the rhyme, y'all. They criticize me for some crime. Nevertheless, they'll not understand that I'm a black man and I could never be a veteran. Oh, don't get me on my leave me alone, man.
That's when music was music.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
I had a question, Raheem. I had a question. I can't remember when y'all was talking about Terry Crews.
Yeah.
You know what I realized, man? If you take the paradigm of Terry Crews, right? I'm gonna give you 3 people to put on a triangle, right? If you take Terry Crews, put him on one end of a triangle, one point of the triangle. You take Dave Chappelle, put him on the other point of the triangle. And you take Richard Pryor and put him on the point of the triangle, right? What you'll find out is Terry Crews actually went against the grain of the great comedians and comics. Dave Chappelle understood that, you know what, I got enough money. Even Richard Pryor in his last days realized, you know what, I done made enough money. Terry's problem is Terry don't understand that, dog, you come from nothing. So you can go back to nothing. Like, he don't understand that he done made enough money. And I think that's what happens in terms of those who sell out, like y'all saying, is they don't realize that, okay, look, this lifestyle, to be honest with you, bro, if you're not a Denzel, if you're not a Will Smith, if you're not
Forrest Whitaker now.
You're not a Forrest Whitaker. Not a it's a couple more names that I would like to throw out there. You're not a Cicely Tyson. You're not a Angela Bassett. You're not a. I'm talking about if you're not a real talent, right? An organic talent that can make things happen. Then I guess you have to worry about the trend. Why? Because there's a chance that you won't be able to live that lifestyle forever. For example, as an actor, I can't even go to an audition that says they're looking for a 20-year-old African American because I don't 20.
Yeah.
I can't pass for 20 years old. It's only one actor that can pass for 20 years old, and he older than us, and that's Robert Downey Jr. You understand? But at the end of the day, like, the truth be told, these people like Terry don't understand that, bro, you got enough money. You can speak your mind whenever you want to speak your mind. You done made enough money. If they wipe the carpet from beneath you, which I think happened, I think when he came out publicly talking about that guy who groped him, although he never said his name, I think everybody in the industry knew who he was talking about. And I think that guy kind of like, hey, look, get your guy together, or we gonna ruin his career. Well, Terry had a career.
Get your end in line. Get your end in line.
Get your end in line. And Terry, you gotta understand, you done had enough things right now that if they would have came at you like that, now you gotta play. See, the problem is with us folk, we playing checkers, they playing chess. The problem is when they sent that to him and they sent that get yourself in line, it could have been real easy for him to come back and say, you know what? You know, I never said your name, but you know, it's real easy for me to say a name. It's real easy. Now you got to move a power piece. You can't move a pawn no more. You got to move a power piece. Even though you might not do that, I'm not saying that I would drop a name either. I mean, everybody would have known what happened because I would have hit him square in his mouth. I'm telling you, I would have knocked him into the next person getting the next award. You see what I'm saying? No, you're not going to do that to me. But being as though you go public with that information, you need to be able to know what your next move is after you go public. You see
and he had no exit plan.
Yeah, you can't just go public. And if they, with Chappelle, look, we want you to wear a dress. I told you I wasn't going to wear no dress. No, they left the dress in his trailer. He like, oh, Lord, I just tell y'all I wasn't going to wear it. Hold on, let me think about this thing. He walked through the airport and a Caucasian brother walked up to him like, what's up, man? Yeah, blah. And he like, oh, hold on. They got a misconception of what I was trying to do. I can walk away. Boom. You see what I'm saying? That's
Can I chime in on that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I believe when you have a dream to be an entertainer and you are good and talented at being an entertainer, sometimes you go through a lot of hoops and hurdles to get to that spot. And you may be very revolutionary, or you might be just, courageous and strong-minded. You might say, man, look, it's a lot of stuff I ain't gonna put up with, even though I had to jump through hoops to get to this position. But a black person in that situation has an extra burden to worry about
because the consequence is that you can end up like Monique, and your own people that can help you out won't even help you out. Because the real situation is that those people that can help you out, that's your own color, they still under somebody's thumbnail that's bigger than them that ain't their color. So they can't go against the grain and book and say, hey, you know what? I support Monique. Monique is one of the most talented women I ever seen on the screen. And she is, because that woman it's two people in Hollywood that I give so much credit to. Danny Glover and Monique played some roles so good that they made me dislike them in real life. I had to get my mind right after Color Purple. I had to get my mind right. I really did. I was like, man, I wouldn't watch another movie that Danny Glover made for a while. Everybody talking about how funny he was in Lethal Weapon. All I seen was him riding on that horse looking like a big abuser. I mean, he played that role. So, I mean, you know, those type of talents, to sit back and see the consequence that Monique is going through, I understand why they won't make the sacrifice. But the thing is, they're still putting those monies and that fame and that glory that they're searching in front of their blackness. And that's a hard decision to make when you're lost. But I want to sort of go back to the I want to go back to who corrected us on the Uncle Tom thing. I'm glad he did that, because last week we went in depth about that already. And this is something that I observed. It's a lot of everybody on this panel is intelligent. And I promise I go in different arenas and different groups of people, and I'm around a lot of intelligent people, and I still see we have one flaw that we lack, that we still won't fix, and that's consistency. Because we had this discussion last week about Sambo and Uncle Tom. We had the same story. We had the same in-depth conversation about Uncle Tom being a hero. And today we had to have it again a week later. Now, that's not pointing a finger at anybody. That's just something that I observed that happens all the time in our community. I'm like, man, why are we stuck knowing this information and still repeating the wrong stuff or entertaining the things that we know? That's how media works. That's how Jewish media and media that programs our generation works anyway. We still sort of portray that subconsciously. I don't think anybody tries to do that. I think we just need to make more of an effort than we think we're making to try to stay away from doing and saying the thing we shouldn't say. Because, I mean, I'm going to promise you, I haven't called anybody Uncle Tom since the day I found out I was wrong.
Exactly.
Since the day I found out it was wrong, it was against the law. It was against my conscience to ever call anybody Uncle Tom again, because I found out the truth. And it's one thing I don't want to do is to keep putting the wrong thing out there when I found out the truth. It does something to me when I find out that I was been putting out the wrong information.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just something I want to bring. I'm glad he brought that up, because we just had this conversation last week, and amongst us, we still let that come out, and we got to understand that is one of the problems, that we don't stay consistent enough. And maybe it's that means we need to do more training on our focus and our consistency, because sometimes we are contributing to this wrong information sometimes. I mean, you know, I do it, other things I do it on, but I caught that. I was like, well, we just talked about this last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Anna, you wanted to say something?
So somebody mentioned earlier, I'm not sure who it was, about black on black racism. And I want to say this as well. I won't say names, but somebody on the panel asked me recently, and this is talking about the brown community. What exactly is it that, you know, two different Hispanic cultures don't get along about, right? So when you ask yourself this, I'll give you an example. Puerto Ricans versus somebody from Central America, or let's just say Dominican. Well, no, because they're neighboring. Let's say somebody from Panama. What is it that they don't like about Puerto Ricans? It's something very simple. And we are attacked a lot of times by a lot of different Hispanics for this. So it's a type of racism because we have citizenship and the whole immigration deal. So you ask yourself, well, what is the issue with that? I don't know, you know, and to this day, you know, you'll see that a lot of times Puerto Ricans are attacked and called many different names by different cultures in the Hispanic community, which is ridiculous, because it's not our fault that, you know, the peace treaty was made for whatever reason. And I think it's where exactly Puerto Rico is located that made it easy for the transporting shipping goods, right? So with that being said, I live in a community that's predominantly Latino and Black. I've seen the worst racism on Black or Latino and Latino that you could see anywhere. I'm like, what is the attack about? Like, we should all stick together. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have as well. To people, we're minority. To me, we're my majority. Okay. That is one of the biggest problems that we have. Why do we attack each other? The darkest person is just as beautiful as the darkest Puerto Rican is just as beautiful as the lightest Puerto Rican you'll ever meet. But you'll see a lot of these attacks going on. I don't get it. It's like almost like North and South type thing, white and Black type thing. And I just don't get it, but we do it within ourselves. It's time that we all unite and learn to love each other, you know, for who we are and what our roots are. That's all.
Absolutely. Bishop, what's on your heart, Bishop? Leonard, come to you next.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I appreciate Rico bringing that to light as I brought out the Uncle Tomism, and a lot of times it's nothing negative if we use the expression because we're not, even though we hear certain things, we just still gravitate to certain expressions. Just like Leonard said, the N word. It offends some people. I use it very loosely. I tell you the God honest truth. When I'm having a conversation with somebody, I will use it. But then if someone says, well, I don't like it, I say, well, I apologize to you. But the reality is, it is what it is. I said what I said. Let's keep it moving. I'm trying to bring out a point. It's not that I'm using it in a derogatory sense at anybody. I'm bringing out a point as it relates to how a person's character is. So that's where the conversation comes in. So I don't blame anybody. I don't get mad at anybody because they use it. I know where they're going with the conversation, and that's what I accept in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're working on being better. I'm going to say it as I generally say it. Thank God for you, Raheem. Thank God for DKM Media Group and Associates. Thank God for all the men and women that call in and give their opinions, their points, because I'm learning. And this is what DKM Media Group and Associate does. We impart knowledge. We bring humor to a lot of things, but the conversation is so real. Mm-hmm. And with the panel that you have here each morning, and I'll start with Anna as the female because we recognize them first, and Christy and the other lady that called in, Leonard, oh my God, that dude right there.
Don't you do it. 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 Lord Jesus, well, don't you do it. No, that's that's my go-to. That's my go-to there, man.
You got to look at the boldness that a man has. You can hear it. And we're so connected that we talk on the same order, and people don't like us and it really doesn't matter if they like us. We're going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help us who we are.
Well,
and then move on.
Well,
and you move on to great men of God like Tucson and Kirk. You know, Kirk got it going on.
I'm don't you do it. Oh, Lord Jesus. Lord,
I'm going to say Frank. Frank ain't here today. I hadn't heard him. But, you know, people that come in with their perspectives. And there are others that wish they had the boldness to say what these brothers and sisters have to say. So they have to sit back and listen to us as we impart this wealth of knowledge and information. Because if we cannot help someone be better, we're not doing nothing.
Exactly.
And that's what DKM Media Group and Associates do every day.
Come on.
To help us be better and to learn better. I appreciate you, Raheem, and to God be the glory that you use to send this message out to 58 countries and to all of the United States of America. Thank you, my brother. To God be the glory, and thank every panelist that call in every day to give their opinions. I really value what you guys have to say. Thank you.
Likewise, brother. Likewise. I want to say something about Leonard, and I'm gonna put him on the spot. I say I'm coming to Leonard next, so I'm gonna say this, and then I'm letting him say whatever's on his heart. He's preparing himself. He preparing himself. He don't know what I'm gonna say. We didn't practice this. So yeah, I see you. I could go to Leonard. I could go to Leonard. I call Leonard 12 o'clock in the afternoon one day. I know I could call him. I said, look at here, man. We got to go over there, man. You know the situation that just happened. Yeah, when the people got assaulted, and I want you to go with me over there. And Leonard won't say whether he's gonna go or not, because I feel if I come to him, he's gonna go just like he come to me. I got you. Let's go. And so that I think that's already a given. I could hear Leonard asking me one question though. Raheem, yeah, Leonard. Are we going over there to talk, or are we going over there to fight? Which one?
Let me know ahead of time.
Absolutely. Let me know what's happening before we get there, so I know how to move my chess pieces.
See, that's the question. That's the question Leonard got. Are we going over there to talk, Raheem? And he gonna throw my name in there, because that's he go. Are you going over there to talk, Raheem, or are we going over there to fight? What we going over there to do, Raheem? And if I say we're going over there to fight, okay, let me get myself ready, because we're going for a fight. Okay, if we're going over there to talk, well, Raheem, I don't feel like talking today. I don't feel like talking today. This not my talking day. And so that's what you get with Leonard. Go ahead, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, you so funny. Yeah, we're gonna gather intelligence before we do anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got to be intelligent. I understand you feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to gather intelligence first before you start making moves. I heard a lot of people, as an administrator and things like that, and background public policy and administration, you can't make a law today and then decide to change it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to put some thought and some effort into what you're doing. And that's what I try to encourage people to do, is to put a little thought and effort into what you're doing first. Think about a decision. It ain't going to kill you to stop and think about something for a minute. I have a lot of things that I have to protect, a lot of things I have to be concerned about. I have a family, and things of that nature. So I'm always trying to work for the good of people to just be able to live free. I am never, ever, I give you my honest to God truth. It is not in me to go after innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
I just simply can't do it. If I'm going to be divine, I must be divine.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things about that is not making, you got your commandments or what you should not do. Thou shalt not kill.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt bear false witnesses against individuals. You got to incorporate this type of living into your everyday life. If you can't understand it through the commandments, I can send you the copy of Mayat.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself each. Divine don't need personal opinions. You do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if you don't like it. There's a lot of things I have to do I don't like. But if they are right to do, I must do them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to because that's going to count negative on me if I don't. And see, I don't want to get to the point where it ain't balanced.
Exactly. Now, Anna put in it. I usually don't read nothing from the private.
Brass.
Yeah, she put in there brass knuckles. Now, Anna, what?
I used to have a nice 4-finger gold ring.
See, I knew it without knowing it.
Oh, it was a nice gold nugget 4-finger ring. Now,
see where we at, y'all. Y'all see what we come to? Lord, my Jesus.
Why did you read that? That was supposed to be between
in the day, the brass knuckles.
Exactly. I normally don't read what's in the chat, because we got a chat going on the side. So if you see somebody laughing or something like that, it's not based on what the speaker at that time is saying. Sometimes they got their own little conversation going over here in the corner, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's hilarious what they put in here. And so, I try to keep I glance at it every now and then, but I can't read everything they say, because I lose what I'm doing. I'll be laughing and y'all be looking. So I don't read everything. But let me do this. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Are we going over there to fight, or are we going over there to talk?
That all depends on what you tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's gather some intelligence.
It depends on 3 things for me. 1, what you tell me. What was the briefing? What was the briefing I got?
Mm-hmm.
Bishop will tell you what was the salute. I'm trying to tell you, what was the salute? What was the size, activity, location, uniform, time, and equipment? Right? That's number two. I'm a crisis manager, so what do I see when I arrive on the scene? What do I see happening? And last but not least, how are they responding to your words of conversation? You're responding with physical violence, then guess what? We ain't talking no more. I'm moving pieces then.
So violence will be met by violence.
No pawns. I'm coming out with everything we got, because we might not be able to get out of it. Talk about us for the next 30 years.
Y'all are Christians. Come on, man.
Listen, we'll get a Christian burial. I'll tell you that.
Has anybody ever studied? I'm pretty sure Bishop has. For real. Has anybody ever studied what everybody did who was the circle around Christ during his ministry?
Oh, there was some jokers now.
Real good dudes. Peter was an assassin prior to following Jesus. He was a tax collector, right? Matthew was a tax collector?
Yeah.
The Levite.
Matthew was a tax collector. How hood you gotta be to collect taxes in the hood?
Let me get that money. Let me get that up out you.
Man, you gonna go collect taxes, you know? Then they had, I think, 3 cooks. There was, when you look at that circle around Jesus, there was every element of folks who was willing to truly, who had already laid down their lives for a cause. They laid down their lives for the proper cause yet. You understand? The proper cause came, if you really do the study, the proper cause came once they met Jesus. And so, like, hey man, if you gave that call, you know, I know that you're not going to make a call like that and it be for frivolous reasons and or circumstances. It's got to be real. And I gotta rely on the God that I believe in and the God that I serve that's telling me, okay, I'm calling unto you. I used Raheem to do it. It's time to get this thing happening. That's just what it is, man. You know, did you watch when they was interviewing them dudes that came together in Louisiana?
Oh my goodness.
They asked the dude, how could you and why are you all down here with firearms and this, that, and the third? And he said, hold on, man. He said, why you ain't asked them dudes over there? Did you over there? Why they down here with firearms and what gives them the right to be here and we don't have the right to be here? I'm here because I'm tired of these folk mistreating these women that's down here protesting. We got one right here. They tried to scare her. They tried to intimidate her. They tried to mistreat her yesterday. Asking me like I'm doing something wrong, but you ain't asked them folk across the street. Go over there and ask them why they here.
Yeah.
Just saying, Raheem. Just saying. But you know you my brother. You already know, brother. I'm gonna try and sneak it on the plane to get to you.
Yes, sir. I already know. Already know. Already know.
You call anybody.
I'm going to call. Hold on. I'm going to call on Rico. Rico, you there? I'm already on you, brother. I'm already on you. What?
Skip me. I'm in the store right quick and talking to a cashier. I'm gonna get y'all on the next go round.
Okay. Good deal. Okay. Who wanted to say something?
This Bishop.
What's on your heart?
Man, I'm listening to these folks, man. Leonard, Kurt, man. I just imagined in my mind.
Oh Lord. We about to go somewhere. Oh Lord. Go ahead, Bishop.
There's a situation, and all of us go. Me, you, Kurt, Leonard, Anna.
It's not gonna be pretty.
Anna is the most civil. Because I know if somebody go off wrong and say something wrong, it's gonna be me, Leonard, and Kurt. We gonna jump. So Anna's gonna be the civil person for us, and she gonna go and try to talk, and she gonna try to reason. And when she sees that her words are not being heard or profound, she'll turn around and look at me, Kurt, and Leonard, and nod her head.
Absolutely,
like Duncan.
Absolutely. All that Puerto Rican gonna come out, baby. All of it.
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out. Now you say yeah, she gonna turn around, she gonna nod. You, Kurt, and Leonard gonna do something. What am I gonna be doing? Cause you say I'm there too. What am
I was just gonna say that.
What am I doing?
You holding the guns for us.
I'm holding
praying or something. I don't know.
He said he the armor, Bishop. He the armor.
we need a prayer. We need a prayer warrior.
Anna, you see this mess here? I'm just gonna hold the guns. Okay. Here's yours. Let me sign this one out to you. Here's yours. Let me sign this one out to you. Sign right there.
She gonna constantly have to hold my chain because I'm gonna be in there.
Hey, what you guys don't know is that us Latinas are very fiery, so I'll be right there too.
Very. Don't get it twisted. I love me some Anna. I told my wife the other day, she's the sweetest person in the world. Make her mad. Mm-hmm. She'll kill you. And then tell the police, I blacked out.
I had no idea.
I don't know. What happened? I don't know. And you laid there cut up, and you don't know what's going on.
Speak no English.
Look at, I see now it is 9:54. I see why we don't go to 10 o'clock, because when we get to around this time here, y'all lose. That's why we don't go to 10, because when we get close to this time right here, man, y'all lose.
And we standing there scared when the police come and the man laid there cut up.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
You guys, I've been praying about this, and Raheen, I told them don't announce that we were going all the way till 10 because I wanted to see how we did, and so did Raheen. We did it. We went to 10. It was a great show. So Raheen, consider it. It was a great show, and I think 10 o'clock is the bomb. You guys, I expect Kurt and Leonard to back me up on this.
I didn't want to be rude. I knew something was going on. I just didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, exactly. Let me Leonard, yeah or nay?
Yay. Because I was thinking what you just said. I was thinking it. I was like, when is he going to understand that the most morning shows run at least 3 hours in the morning?
Yeah.
And they run between 6 and 10, a lot of them.
I know. Curtis, yeah or nay?
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah, man. You touching too many. Listen, man, God put you in a position to touch too many lives, bro. That's just what it is. You touching too many lives. Raheen, I don't know if you even, I know you know it. Raheen, you are bringing some truths to some people who are getting images of what America is, and the images they're getting is a lie.
That's right.
All right, if y'all don't believe me, Bishop, Leonard, y'all was in the military. Y'all remember AFN?
Exactly.
Countries, Raheen, all they see is AFN. Those foreigners, in their minds, man, America is this. Oh my goodness! If you know nothing about America, well, knowing what you know, Raheen, a full day of AFN, you'll be like,
man,
what?
Or sleep on the couch in the day room because you don't win that beer machine and bought all that Pilsner up out of there.
Yeah. I just know it is a military brat. I don't know it is actually being in the military.
Yeah, like, look, so, my point is this, bro. The show is not only educational,
yes,
on a biblical level, it is also educational on a social and economic level.
Yes.
You're teaching people in 58 other countries on Fridays how to be businessmen and women in America.
Yes.
Man, that's
Monday through Friday.
You know what I'm saying, man, that's like, that's like my Denzel version of my man.
Yeah. Bishop, yeah or nay?
Well, I won't say yay or nay. I'll say the show must go on.
Wow. Rico. Rico?
Yep.
Oh, I ain't got to ask you yet, nigga. Mm-hmm.
I say you can't never get enough of a good thing, and they say America is the most obese country, so feed us.
I love that, Rico. I love that one.
But see, now that I went across and Donald, I'm gonna have to ask him later because he had to get back to work. We went across and I asked everybody. We did this board for him, and because I want to have everybody's input. So now that we said it and we said that this what all y'all want to do, we can do it. But I charge all y'all to be here, man. All y'all got to be here with me now. Y'all got to be here. Okay. Now that we
count on me.
Okay. 7 to 10. I'm about to change everything up. 7 to 10. Lord, my Jesus.
Ain't God good?
Anna, what's going
on, fellas?
Anna, what's going on at 3:00 today? Lord, my Jesus.
At 3:00, if you missed the show, I first want to mention that we are no longer on www.dkmradio.com. Now it's www.dkmmediagroupandassociates.com.
Not associates.
Mediagroup.com.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I need to get that in my head. And if you miss the show, watch it in its entirety. Have a good day, y'all.
Absolutely. Leonard, man, pray us out today, brother.
Before I pray, I want to remind people what we talked about at the top of the show. Do understand that if you are in Georgia and we have a runoff, if you plan on voting absentee, you must request that ballot. I do not believe that at all, and I've talked to the folks with the DNC here. They are not going to automatically send you a ballot, absentee ballot, like they did previously. So say that again.
No, I'm just saying you got to be on it. You got to be on top of it.
Yeah, you got to be on it. And we know we got a person that we really need folks to turn back out in Gwinnett County to vote. You got to go back and vote for these people again in the runoff. Make sure you do that. It's just as important as the first vote. More important, actually, than the first vote, because you got to come back.
Exactly.
All hearts and minds clear. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for giving us an opportunity to speak life in certain situations and to illuminate some for others. We hope that we touch somebody's heart this morning. We also want to reach out and let anyone know who may be just a bit influenced, who want to know more about this Christ that we serve, to contact us, to let us know how you feel. Reach out to us if you have any needs so we can put them in contact. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings. Thank you for the peace that we are trying to create. These are the blessings I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. It is now 10:01. It is now 10:01. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want to thank you for allowing us to do that, and thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. I guess we're going to 10. We're going to start next week, Monday, going to 10:00. Lord, my Jesus. Boy, look at how they do me, y'all. Look at how they y'all.
I'm so excited.
Look, it is now 10:01. We're about to exit on I'm going to say Real Me and Be Me. About to exit on the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug. Because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And if we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow, take that light out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. Y'all have a great weekend. We got a few things going on this weekend as well, so y'all stay locked and loaded right here with us. Got a couple of announcements I'm gonna make next week. So y'all definitely want to join us next week. And everybody, y'all have a safe weekend, man, and spend some time with your families and love on each other. You never know. All right. Y'all have a great day.
Good morning. See y'all later.
He's gonna go nap now.
All right, y'all take it easy. Have a great one. Peace.